Yeah. Okay, cool. It looks like my sound is coming through as well, and that's usually the first thing that fucks up whenever you make any changes to a stream at all, so huzzah. Also, hello Luxy, and hello everyone, welcome to Sunday night. I hope you enjoy the incredibly fancy stream overlays. Oh my god, how good is it? How good is it? It is pretty fucking great, I gotta tell you. Of course, the last few seconds you're like, I just want to make one tiny adjustment. What if I do that? Well done, Luxy. 7 stream watch streak. It's very impressive. If we do that, and then I make the game capture a little bit smaller. On one side, yes, just one side. It'll fit in the box. There you go, look at that, how good. Okay, I'll lock it, I'll leave it alone, I'll stop fiddling. Okay, how the heck are you? I don't know. You only need to jump on for a moment, I think that's the most important. Yeah, isn't it just? Hey, I'm going to disappear for a moment when I do this, but like, look how cool this is. Oh my god. Don't you love it? Yeah, the chat overlay is small. If I turn up the font size, you can't see a fucking thing. Yeah, transitions. How good is that? This was... Oh shit, I was supposed to set up a command to tell everyone and I totally forgot. I bought this from Get Wrecked, R-E-K-T, a design firm for people who... I think there's about 5 or 6 staff, 4 of which are artists, and the only thing they do intermediate fonts, like, look, we'll give it a go. Give me a second. Chat box. Now, the chat box changes are done on the website, so I can't show you, because then you'll see my login details. Oh, the baby K. What a cute little guy. He was very upset when I walked down the corridor. I had to be like, look, depending on when we think you're going to go to sleep, Mum may let you see me. Widgets. Chat box. What I really wanted at the very bottom, instead of by floating, I wanted to change that so it would be like a Puzzle Plus counter. But if I wanted to have a Puzzle Plus counter, I needed to manually manage it myself because the overlay won't talk in a way that's reasonable. That's a little better. I turned up the font size a little. Actually, you could probably do a little more as well. Save settings. Yeah, you'll notice how the widget refreshes entirely and we lose everything on there. Anyway, it's not freezing enough in the house to wear my jacket at all times. Widget. Yeah. Also turn off people's badges. We do that. There, that should do it. I'll save that. You'll have slightly more space. You're good to go. All right. And this is, from what I've done research-wise. Hey, I need somebody else's eyes on it because I don't... Like, I'd have to go live if I wanted to, say, see what it looked like on a regular screen. Otherwise, I've got my preview thing. And I was like, yeah, the text looks small because, of course, it's small. It's on my preview screen. What can you do? I'm not exactly a visual design person either, so... Actually, it's funny. I posted to Fenno a list of all my characters with a brief descriptions, just being like, hey, if you want to think about costumes beforehand, here's a good way to do it. And the whole time I'm thinking, I don't fucking do this. I don't fucking do this. What the hell? Camera said, like, costume suggestions? I'm the wrong person. I'm the wrong GM to assist with that. Fuck. In any case, I still posted it. And the same with doing this design work to try and make my stream look better. Not the right person, but I'll muddle through. I did it easy way. And this... yeah, well, if you want to come over and fix it for me, go nuts, right? That's not my purview. I did my absolute best. We can make the larger ones smaller, but I gotta tell you, you're using essentially plain text to make those. And except if you're talking about the way bottom right, it says likes every sub 36. That just displays the most recent, like, yeah, latest sub. Exactly. It also has latest, it's got latest follow, it's got gift subs, all that sort of thing. So if you want your name off it, ask somebody else to go submit. That's the goal. Or link to your sister and make her subscribe, right? Because we're still doing Vampire Therapist. Get wrecked labs. I did promise that I would do that. Each of the 4 things, there's 8. Did promise I would link that. That's where I got it. It's called Spellbound. It's very appropriate. It's dark green, me, obviously. And it's kind of magic themed, which, again, me. So I thought it was well worth the $40-something I spent. 4 sections. So you're talking like the viewer number is a ridiculous font. Yes, that's from a list. I can't control that. And I could probably change the event reader, but again, not a thing I'm going to do live. All this feedback could have been given on my Discord server, which now has like a glowing animated orb. How fucking cool is that, right? And we also don't jump from chatting into like game streams. It's just exactly what it looks like. I guess if you're watching it on a big screen, you know, you don't lose much by having the same pixel fidelity slightly smaller. So that's how it goes. Anyway, hey, you want to play Vampire Therapist? I do. I'm kind of tired. That's what another thing. I stayed up late working hard to get an assignment written and then edited today and then put in. Fucking hell. I don't feel too amazing about this one. We do not have a winner. Although I didn't feel too bad about the last one and scored like 86 or something. It was a high distinction, but only just. It was kind of ridiculously high for the amount of effort I put in. I don't know, it was several days worth of effort. Yeah, it's pretty condensed, alright. You notice that the chat text font is also different? Could probably make that go in all caps too. That would be excruciating. Yeah, we'll see. Chat can be different, you say. That doesn't matter. Yeah, so I've spent hours just... When I take a break from an essay, this is in between parenting. I did not leave baby K to poor Emma the whole time. But, whenever I was not doing an assignment, like reading so much fucking research, I said minimum of 8 sources, and I had 22. That might be where someone says, well, you're not adding enough of your own information. Yeah, well, fucking of course. Undergrad? They don't want me to have much of my own thought. Not much, at least. I just feel like whenever I say something that seems obvious, I need to back it up with facts. So, hey, an extra source. I should also probably reuse more. But I'm doing all this research. It's appropriate. And again, they're getting them. There's just a lot of other people's thoughts. I don't know how anyone could do it with 8 sources for a 1500 word. I don't understand. I don't know how anyone could do it. Like the longest fucking sentences with the way they kind of expect you to write the essays. Whatever. Again, I've made this kind of clear. What we're doing here in a counseling degree is I'm just proving that I can do evidence-based practice, and I can actually do research if someone gives me a tricky question. I'm kind of proving that I'll go off and researching it and come back, because it's not a psych degree. Yeah. In any case, I feel well read on the subject, and that's good. I just don't think... Yeah, this one I did learn a little bit. This hasn't been a terrible unit, that's for sure. The last one was bad. We're still taking a break after. I don't want to do too many things in a row. Rest is so necessary. Even if it does slow down, then whatever. Time's gonna pass anyway. So, when I haven't been assignmenting this weekend, I've been configuring my stream overlay. And then I've been parenting, and then it's back to configuring the stream overlay. Or leaving a game up in the outer worlds. Like, when I can no longer squeeze any words out of me, we're good to go. Yeah. People talk shit on Word for the dumbest things, I gotta tell you. What am I talking about there? People talk shit about words because Microsoft Word, because they're like, oh, you move an image and everything's fucked up. Well, one, you don't understand word wrapping. That's your own goddamn fault. And you don't use tabs, so that's your own goddamn fault. But there is some obvious things that need to be criticized. You know, you can't do a word count outside of the program, even if you've got Office 365. And that means you can't use the Explorer shell to just like right-click, say, a folder of text and see how many words there are across all of them. That would be pretty useful, don't you think? It's not designed to do... When people say that Word's like done no massive updates in a significant period of time, and so it's just the same old shitty program's got a stranglehold, they're wrong. They're absolutely wrong. There's so many cool things you can do with Word. But it's like, no, it's better than anything I use, right? Except advanced CSS. Oh yeah, all right, true. And like, if you're trying to build a presentation in it, yeah, it's not going to do great. But I try not to judge bits of the Office suite when you're trying to use one of them to something it's not. The same way I don't think Excel is great when you should be using an Access database. Does Access really count as part of the Office suite? Yeah. Anyway, just like this is a shortish character sheet, the boilerplate text removed, so we're just doing backstory and how they feel about other characters. 2,800 words, 10 characters. Some of them are longer than others, and that was a shorter one, so let's round up to 3,000. 3,000 times 10, 30,000. It's 30,000 words, you know? It was a year. It's about a year's effort, you know? So... It's a good one. Yeah. This is essentially how I can maintain that I'm a words guy, not a design guy. That when I pull up Word, it does exactly what I want it to. And when I want to lay things across... I was just going to turn on like a... I need to add a new source of a display capture. Display capture... That one there. We put it at the top and I'll hide it quickly. When I want to do things like make sure that this one is left aligned and this one's right aligned and this one's left, but I can also condense it if I need to. Make it so that the format here is that no matter what I type, it's always in all caps. Like, Word is amazing at that. It's so good. It's easy. And I know, because I don't use a lot of WYSIWYG editors for other shit in knowledge management in my job, and they're awful. I'm always like, can I import from Word? And it says, yeah, you can. It just grabs the text and nothing else. Like, fuck, are you kidding me? You can build a choose your own adventure novel inside Word just by using hyperlinks. It's perfectly easy. Can turn off navigation, save it in a format so that you can only navigate through clicking in the text. Like, it's possible. It's not super easy. I wouldn't recommend it. I'd tell you to use HyperCard. No, Twine. But it's possible. Anyway, the whole reason I got on this rant is I'd like to say, yeah, I'm studying to part-time, like one class a semester. Oh, hey, Violet. And writing the Fenno game, well, it's not like I need to write mechanics. I have a very small section and I need to do an editing pass because Expert Druid was like, yeah, it's just not making sense to me. Can they clarify? So I need to run it through another pass to make sure it makes sense. But the characters themselves are good. The most common advice I get is, that's a lot of text, man. And I'm like, my Fenno characters, too much depth? Anyway, they're posted to the Fenno Facebook page. People will be able to get a teaser to see about the characters and try and pick a favorite if they want a costume. Like, I sure won't be. I'll turn open jeans and a shirt. Probably a band shirt. And someone has... one person or two people? Two people have quotes from songs from that artist, so they'll look at me and go, fucking nerd. Anyway, you want to play Vampire Therapist? This is the view. You get this while we game, so...
Drinking booze ain't exactly compatible with our biology, Andy.
You give it to a blood doll and then drink it there. That's how it goes. Also, sound should be the same, but we're checking that, okay?
By Scotch, I mean Scottish blood. It's iron-rich and quite delicious. I age it in whiskey barrels.
That's so stupid.
That sounds pretty nice. I might just do that and call it an early night.
So stupid.
As you wish, Samuel. Rest well, and do not lasso yourself so tightly, as you say. You are deserving of love, especially from yourself.
Ooh, okay.
I'm just gonna leave before I get more embarrassed.
You know, it's a good therapy session when they end it with something like, you are deserving of love.
Very well, Samuel. Rest in peace, my friend.
Yeah, cool. So, like, the overlay itself, nearly everything on it is a small
Samuel,
video
greetings.
that's running.
You are seeing Dr. Drain again tonight, yes?
Right? And so I've been keeping an eye on the stats to make sure that my GPU is not under too much strain and going, there's rendering or encoding lag that's slowing everything down. But we're still at 0.1 and 0.0% of frames. So we're doing totally fine there.
That's right. I'm keen to see how he's getting on. That fella's got himself wrapped up real tight.
This is our addict.
Do not expect too much change too quickly. It takes a while for thoughts to internalize, even when we know the truth of them logically. It took me only 2,800 years or so to internalize what I needed.
Jeez.
I don't think the doc's gonna be too keen to wait that long.
I do not think he will have to. Unlike myself, he has you to guide him.
That's a good point. If you're not working from first principles yourself, it's a little bit easier.
Oh gosh, I barely know what I'm doing, boss. I'm not sure I can keep track of all these new distortions I know about.
I do not expect you to. We humans are distortion machines, my friend. But let us ensure we address Dr. Drain's core distortion. You know what it is, don't you?
Control. No, maybe if it's not control, it's should statements.
That fella's a should statement machine, I'll tell you what.
That's right. We can be certain he will carry this distortion with him, but I would like you to pick the rest to keep in mind, Samuel.
Oh, okay.
Up until this point, you have addressed client distortions in small clusters. But now that you are aware of more cognitive distortions, you will notice them everywhere. We must not use cognitive distortions as weapons to beat our clients with, so pick 4 more to keep in mind during your session.
But what do I do if I detect he's showing the distortions I'm putting aside?
You do not need to address all of them, my friend.
Ooh.
You will not catch every distortion, and if you did, I believe your clients would find you irritating. I do not alert you to half of your cognitive distortions.
Here is the game.
We know that Dr. Drain will exhibit should statements. What else do you think he will come to this session with?
Oh my god. I feel like we're building a deck. Kingdom Hearts style. Okay, so definitely... Okay, core distortion should. They won't let me take that off. That's great. Disqualifying the positive. Definitely control. Overgeneralization. And labeling. That's my choices. Let's go.
I think I've got what I need now.
Very good, Samuel. I will leave you to it. Have confidence. It is well earned.
I guess I just got to believe you. All right, Andy, I'll do my best.
Do my best.
I know you will. I will see you after your session.
Woo.
I think I'm ready, and here comes the man himself. I have partaken of my awful plasma almost every night. I am more monster than man now.
Dr. Drain, good to see you again.
Yes, well, I wish I could say the same. I have not had the most productive month.
Oh no.
Back on this productive wagon, huh? Last time we were talking about all them should statements. Yes, exactly. And what a waste of time that was. I took what we spoke about to heart, you know, like a fool.
Oh.
But the should statements, as you so tritely put them, were the only thing holding me together.
Sometimes things get worse before they get better, especially when you start noticing things.
You ignored the addiction problem I came to you with. Nay, worse, you told me it was fine. And oh, how eager I was to test that theory.
Yeah, how'd that happen? How'd that go?
I have partaken of my awful plasma almost every night. I am more monster than man now. Compadre, you are a labeling machine tonight. Let's slow down and see if we can talk through what's been happening. Let's start with this monster label. Last time you told me that this plasma of yours just made you let loose a little. That don't sound too monstrous to me. You forget, Sam. We are vampires. When we let loose, all the world suffers. Sounds to me like we could be having a fruitful conversation about moderation.
Yeah, that's a good one too. Moderation is underrated. Seriously. Yeah, I'm relatively, moderate in a lot of things. Not political philosophy.
I have a better idea. Seeing as you do not understand the gravity of the situation, I will make you understand.
All right.
This is the plasma I've spoken of. Pure vampiric essence. I will show you how should statements are the remnants of our humanity. We should not be so quick to cast them away.
It's got the word should in it, but I don't think that's exactly what's going on. No. Actually, yes, I do. Is it a control fallacy? No, not really. Remnants of our humanity isn't real. Like, he's not labeling himself with it. It's black and white thinking. We don't have Nosferatu thinking, so let's go with...
I agree with you that should statements are human, but that don't make them universal. That's the point I'm trying to make. There's lots of ways to live, Doc. That is exactly the problem, Sam. We don't live. And this is the result most dire. Witness the wages of our sin. Now, hold on a sec, Doc. I think we better... The time for caution is over. Goodbye, Sam.
Oh, jeez.
What in hell?
Oh, you took it.
Does it feel good to be alive? And who are you, darling? I'm Sam. I'm your therapist, Doc. You know that. My therapist!
You're gonna get baby cake complaining.
Oh, how wonderful. How absolutely pathetic. A vampire therapist. Oh, what a sad, pathetic waste you are, Dr. Drain.
Oh, Lord Lourdes. That's so mean.
Allow me to introduce myself, then. I am Lord Lourdes, and unlike that sad sack of quivering shit you've been talking to, I am a vampire. I kill kill, I drink, I fuck, and I'm dead sexy.
Yes, you are.
Weren't you wearing glasses before? I don't need glasses. Reading is what people do when they can't find anyone to fuck, which is not a problem I face. Oh, you're missing out, fella. I got into reading after I died, and there's whole worlds to discover in books. Oh, you're so fucking boring. There's a whole world to discover up my arse as well.
Oh, really?
Well, you don't have to be so crass. Yes, I see it in your eyes. You're afraid, aren't you, American? Your Puritan blood chills at the sight of me. Maybe I'll warm it up before I drain it from you and turn you into a husk with a stupid hat. I wouldn't try it. I'm not you, though, am I? And I am always hungry. I suggest you stay right where you are.
It's a good response.
A vampire with a gun? Oh, how our kind have fallen. What are you going to do, cowboy? Kill me? Nope, but I can make sure the next few months ain't fun for you. Oh, how very kind of you to care about me, darling. It'll be our dear Dr. Drain who suffers. But I need the little worm for now, so I suppose I'll let you live. Mighty kind of you. Now you just settle on down and we're gonna have a chat.
Yeah, let's have a chat with him. I'd love to therapize this little bastard. Let's get him.
Ugh, talking. We are animals. We are not meant for talking. But very well. At least give me something to drink. I can rely on your piteous human blood to do me that kindness, yes?
He called us a vampire with a blood, and now he's like a vampire with a gun, and now he's saying we got piteous human blood?
All right, but I'm watching you, hombre. Look all you like. The show is free.
Good job, Lord Luridus.
This is better than the swill I usually prefer. I'm more of a quantity over quality sort of creature.
Yeah, this is scotch.
Yeah, I know your kind. I used to be a lot like you. And I suppose now you are just as repressed as the sad creature that exerts control over this luscious body of mine.
I don't know if it calls him particularly repressed.
I'm more free than I've ever been, but don't you worry about me. Let's talk about you.
Yeah.
You're going to psychoanalyze me. I live according to my nature. You might as well interview a lion.
That's not what that means.
Yeah, we'll see about that. I'm sure you are the way you are for a reason. You're not wrong about that. You know the answer already. Dr. Drain needs me. I am what is missing in his unlife. I am his hidden strength. I am his true essence. He is nothing without me, which he already realizes.
Lord Luridus seems to believe Dr. Drain is a completely insignificant part of his existence. Is this true, Samuel?
I am his hidden strength.
Generalization?
Lord Luridus seems to believe...
I am his hidden strength.
Disqualifying the positive.
You're forgetting something. A lot of who you are is because of Dr. Drain.
Yeah, I guess so.
You know
huh?
that fella denies himself a lot, and you do all them things he refrains from. Besides, didn't he make that plasma you sprung from? Do you know, you're absolutely correct. Very well. I'll give the little twerp his credit. He did bring me into existence, and what a wonderful existence it is.
Grats.
Were you aware that vampires possess absolutely no gag reflex? I can prove it. I don't mess with my clients.
That's not distracting at all.
But I'm not your client. That little rat man in tweed is. Of course he would deny himself the pleasure.
If, as in Requiem, all food tastes like ash and dust, and so no joy can be got from it, what about things that you swallow that aren't food?
You hear him talk about what he should do, but the sad creature cannot do those things. He should give in to me, and thanks to you, he has begun to. Come on now, you're really countering his shoulds with your shoulds? I think that proves there ain't no such thing as a should everyone agrees on.
Oh,
But my shoulds are so much more entertaining. His have only bred him hundreds of years of pathetic existence. Huh. Well, that don't make a damn bit of difference. I bet there are vampires a hell of a lot more depraved than you who think you should be doing things differently.
yeah.
Really? Oh, you must introduce me. If there are holes I don't know about, I should very much like to know where they are. There. How old are you anyway? Dr. Drain's been summoning me for 14 years now. Oh, things are starting to make a lot more sense. You certainly sound like a 14-year-old.
Good trashed. That's so good.
The transformation has already begun. I will subsume him. His body and his mind will belong to me completely, and Dr. Drain will cease to be. You're awful confident about that, but I got bad news for you. You don't control Dr. Drain, he controls you.
Uh-oh.
Oh, darling. The little doctor controls nothing at all, least of all himself. Make no mistake, he shall be mine.
You're not in control of everything.
Oh, yeah? And how do you know that? I know the little wretch far better than you do. He hasn't changed in centuries.
What do you mean? You've only been alive for 14 years.
Was he in therapy then? No. Only in the modern age do we make do with such delusional exercises. So not everything he does is predictable. I don't think you got a good reason to be so confident. Are you trying to fill my head with doubts? Do you even think that such a thing is possible?
I think you're a client too, Luridus.
There is no such thing as doubt for beings such as we. We live or we die. That's all. And I will live. I notice a funny way you and Dr. Drain talk about each other, as though you're totally different people. You really think that's true? Have you spoken with our pathetic little doctor? You know, he doesn't drink real blood. That's why he's so weak. Hold on, how's he even alive if he's not drinking blood? Oh, the little ball of shame didn't tell you. He's not even a vampire. He drinks that synthetic trash he produces instead of real blood. Seems to me you got a pretty dang narrow definition of what it means to be a vampire.
Mm-hmm.
Heck, I don't see you wearing a cape. You sure you ain't just a regular mortal? Don't be a fool. There is a minimum requirement for being a vampire, that's all. And Dr. Drain does not meet it.
That's actually a pretty interesting way to... Yeah. It's an interesting attitude a vampire could take against someone who does not drink blood from a person. And it's also very easy to have it thrown back in their face immediately by saying, yeah, but you drink from willing people, and predators don't do that, and we're predators. So you're not a real vampire either, you piece of shit.
He's an embarrassment to our kind, and worse, an embarrassment to me.
It's good advice for your tabletop game. If you want your monsters to be anything more than, like, sacks of hit points to beat up, which is perfectly fine in many games. Like, don't get me wrong. That's a worthy goal to go for. But if you want them to be slightly more than that, if you want them to have more depth instead of just tactical challenge, making it so they disagree on things is just an easy way to do that. An easy, quick way to make them seem a lot more complicated than they actually are, just simply because they aren't all the same. Take the stat block out of the monster manual and do something interesting with it, you know?
I wouldn't be surprised if you were a 400-year-old virgin. If it weren't for me, his cock would have shriveled up like a raisin.
Well, I suppose. I mean, you're the one putting it into, like, a pressure chamber repeatedly. Like, that will cause it to shrivel up, right? That's why the people who fuck best have tiny cocks. And I mean, that makes perfect sense to me.
I think I'm gonna surprise you, Lord, whatever you're calling yourself, but I think you're right. Dr. Drain does need you. But like it or not, you need him too. How very bloody dare you? What possible use could I have for a little turd like him?
There's a meme that I hope I'll remember to send during Inbreak to our Discord server. We'll take a look. Good night, baby K. Night night. Ha. Labeling.
And none at all, long as you keep calling him names. You keep thinking of him as being a turd, and that's all he's gonna be.
Ooh.
I admit, Dr. Drain might have a thing or two to learn from you, but he ain't gonna learn as long as you keep antagonizing him.
Correct.
Oh, come now, the little worm likes it. He is far better at hating Dr. Drain than I am, and I find him entirely loathsome. Then you ain't giving him room to grow. How would you feel if someone just called you an animal?
He calls himself an animal.
I am an animal, pure and perfect. I don't care what anyone thinks of me. Vampires ain't animals, not even the worst of us. The moment we learned to talk and reason, living like beasts was out the window.
Yeah, I like that. I think that's appropriate.
What a strange creature you are. You dress like a buffoon, but speak like a philosopher. The buffoon is the more admirable of the two. At least he's honest.
I'm not a baboon. How dare you?
You and Dr. Drain lie and lie and lie to justify your existence. It's ridiculous to suggest that I need him. What could I possibly need him for?
Where do you sleep, Lord Luridus? Where's your haven? Loxy, I'm not a baboon either, even if you spell it incorrectly once.
When I tire, I sleep. When I lust, I fuck. When I thirst, I kill. As it should be.
Sorry, turn of the century Tradit. As it should be.
There it is again, that simple thinking and them shoulds that are only yours. Come the hell on. You think we vampires should just go on autopilot? Fuck, sleep, kill, repeat? Well, naturally, we should ensure that those things are fun. Otherwise, what's the point in doing them? That's it right there. I agree with you entirely. About time. I'll remove my clothing then. Or perhaps I'll remove yours. Not so fast. You're missing the point. If we're doing these things because they're fun, well, everybody's got their own idea of fun.
Whoop.
That's our human experience at work. Like me, for instance. I'm more of a high intimacy kind of lover. Oh, boff. You managed to make even delightful things seem so heinous. I'm only speaking the truth. What makes you so damn sure you know what being a vampire is anyway? Why do you think you've got it all figured out? Lie to yourself all you like, darling. We're all alike. I know what you crave. There's loads of us vampires out there, all with different experiences. You really think we're all the same? We are animals, darling. Like all depraved animals, we exist to ensure we continue to exist. If we do not, we embrace oblivion.
Seems kind of shallow.
Well, that's a heck of a jump. We ain't powerless against our baser instincts, far from it. We can be better people. We can live in harmony with others.
Yeah.
It is utterly pointless to fight our natures.
Really? Sounds like you lose that fight all the time then.
Oh, that poor mortal had a family. Who gives a damn? I'm thirsty. That poor mortal must consume in order to live, and so must I. He simply pretends not to enjoy it. I don't need to do any such thing. I love to kill. I love the taste of blood. Why would I love it if it weren't the only way to live? Point is, you're gonna get real fucking bored if you don't find a reason to do what you're doing. Do you think I need a purpose? That's a mortal concern. I don't need a fucking legacy. I need blood. The only thing I should do is what I was made to do. You're just as bad as Dr. Drain with all them should statements. He keeps talking about what he shouldn't do, and you keep talking about what you should do.
Ha.
You both act so damn sure of yourselves. You're so damn sure blood is all you need.
Yeah, well.
Oh, did I forget to mention all the fucking? No, but hombre, you live forever. Food and sex is enough for animals. They got short lives. They get threatened and they die real quick.
Oh, sorry, man. We're human. Everything's way more complicated for us. Like, you don't get to have the easy mode, but we have the opportunity to occasionally put ourselves on easy mode. That's called drugs.
I know a lot of vampires who live like animals, and every single one of them is lost.
Yeah, they hate it.
Like him or not, Dr. Drain is your reason for living. Hell, if he didn't make this plasma stuff, you'd still be buried deep somewhere in his head.
Yeah.
Fuck you. Dr. Drain is a pathetic little liar, and I will destroy him. That's what he wants. Then I'll come for you. If you're gonna kill me, you'd better be a quicker draw than I am. You wanna try your luck, compadre? No need. I do thirst, though, and I smell something downstairs. I smell mortals and virgins. Oh, how delicious. You've been holding out on me, cowboy. You can drink what's in that bottle till Dr. Drain comes back. I ain't letting the likes of you near them people. At least you're aware enough to know that I am a ravenous beast. And beast that I am, I must kill.
You will do no such thing to my mortals. Restrain yourself.
Good job, Andromachos.
Oh, now who is this beautiful morsel?
I am far older than any blood you have ever tasted, whelp. Do not dare to think you can overpower me.
Don't threaten me with a good time, Daddy.
I will keep this poor animal contained, Samuel. You did excellent work in handling him.
Yeah.
Deserve some rest. I will meet with you later.
If you're sure.
Do not worry. I have no need to hurt him.
How are you going to take him down?
Well, now I'm just disappointed. All right, Andy. I'll talk to you later. And Lord Lurid, or whatever your name is, think about what we talked about, huh? Dr. Drain's got something you need. Oh, Vom, get out of here already. Not you two.
Lurid detail. Survived Lord Luridus' session.
Tornation. Barely walked out of that one alive. And I thought therapy was just talking. I could use a drink. I could use a drink.
Alright, fine. Alright, it doesn't actually want me to use it. Fun. I think we read that last time.
If it isn't the Lone Ranger.
Hey, Crimson.
Thanks, Crimson.
You look a little down, cowboy. Have a shot.
Yay!
I don't mind if I do.
Rough one tonight.
You could say that. My client went a little feral. Tried to attack me.
Yeah, well.
That ain't good. I hope you booted their ass out.
Well, here's the thing. He wasn't himself. The fella, he can't stand being a vampire, so the vampire comes out in nasty ways.
Don't put yourself into too much danger, cowboy. Cleaning up a pile of ashes isn't my idea of a good night. So what? He just went and turned into a monster?
More or less. Went from a restrained fella to a hedonist beast.
How do you think you handled it?
Pretty well.
I think I did all right.
Yeah, we
I
did
learned
fine.
a whole bunch of cognitive distortions now.
Made a couple
so
of
I was
mistakes.
still able to
Not too
challenge the
many.
beast.
Yeah.
Well, the way I figure it, he's still desperate for help, even if he doesn't act like it.
I can see why Andy likes you. A heart's still beating in there.
I don't think Lord Luridus is, like, fully committed to the bit.
I'm a creature of the night, too. I just want to help my kin.
No, I think Lord Luridus is committed to the bit, but that's not all he is.
People like talking to you, cowboy. They can't help sharing their lives with you. Whatever it is about you, folks are always going to prefer talking to you over killing you.
He's a girl.
I surely do hope you're right.
You know my big secret already. I wouldn't have told it to you if I didn't believe in you.
Well, that's mighty kind of you, Crimson. I'm humbled.
Quit it with the aw shucks stuff. Now you're just trying to be cute.
Well, yeah. When are we not trying to be cute?
And making success visit.
Hello, Reinhardt.
Oh, hey, it's my little buddies. How's it going, kids?
Bad.
I'm sorry to hear that, Maxie.
Maxie, no.
What's going on?
Make some room, Kinder. I've got customers to serve. Go talk in the kink room.
Would you like to chat in the kink room, Maxie?
I would like that very much.
So what's going on, Maxie?
Maxie, Reinhardt, what's going on?
My boss yelled at me today and made me sad.
Well, what happened?
Someone injected a malicious SQL query into our API and used it to execute code. We did not have our queries parameterized, so they were able to drop the user table entirely.
Johnny dropped tables? No way.
I warned the backend developers that this would happen, but I got all of the blame.
Is Reinhardt a back-end developer?
That sounds like a real mess, Maxie. Reminds me of the time I forgot to lock the gate on a cattle drive. By morning, every last cow was gone, just like your user table thing.
Fuck. I should clip that and send it to work. That's incredible.
Maybe your boss was hopping mad, but I bet next time they'll listen to you.
Bobby drop tables. Thank you, Luxy.
Am I the only one who is now aroused?
No, Reinhardt, I am also aroused.
Okay, get on over here and pass me some neck.
Fuck, god damn it, I need to...
I feel as though all my worries have been sucked away.
Hey. Oh, god. Good. Jeez, I think the solution is I need to get a fang into the vein, not try and get as much of the between the fangs area to be over the vein. Like, that doesn't make a lot of sense. I'm not sure why I was trying to make... Why was I aiming for the center when I have a sharp, pointy bit that I should be aiming for instead? Yeah, first time.
I am well acquainted with this feeling, Hazi.
And you will be once more.
Like, right now?
I think that's my cue to get to my coffin.
What? You don't want to drink Reinhardt again?
You scared the American away, Maxie.
You, when meditating, you couldn't get him out of your mind for a bit. Like,
I suppose I am a very bad girl.
oh no.
All right, I'm out. Bedtime for Sam. I'll see you kids later.
Do you like how they were like, Crimson was like, you kids should talk in the kink room. And then Sam was like, would you like to talk in the kink room? And they went, yeah. Affirmative consent, baby. We love it.
Greetings.
We love it. It's fucking great. You see how easy it was? It's so good. People are like, asking for consent is so formal. I don't know how to work it in. Are you kidding me? Watch this. You look really good, and I would love to kiss you right now. Is that not going to work? That'll work on me in an instant. Every time I have said something similar to that, they don't give a yes, they kiss me. If I can pull it off, and I look like this, you definitely can. Come on, man. Even if you're nervous, you're like... Let me get into character here for a second. Okay, I think I got it. Let's see. You could kiss me now if you'd like. Done. Right? Done. If they don't want to kiss you, they won't. How easy is that? That also works when you're getting more intimate too. I'd like to take you to bed. Which can be, hey, violence? Yeah, formality can absolutely, right? That violence is gonna right there. Formality can be really sexy too. No? I'm just checking that you want to do this. I'd really love to kiss you. It's totally worth it. I want to check you understand exactly what I mean when I say I'd like to go to bed. Would you like to have sex with me tonight? You know? Easy. Easy. The tension, the nervousness, if it rises in you, you're just afraid of the rejection. And that's so normal, so natural. Breathe it out. This is one of the things you can't sidestep around, okay? Gotta use your words, get through it.
Oh, hey, Andy.
What's wrong, Sam?
What is wrong, my friend? You don't seem your chipper American self.
I guess I ain't too happy to be seeing tonight's client. I'm still feeling the tongue lashing she gave me last time.
Oh, come now. She'll be fun.
Ah, yes, the Senora d'Este. She certainly has a way with words.
It ain't that. It's just this sense I get. Like she thinks I can be a certain way just because she tells me to.
Aha. At least that makes her core distortion clear, doesn't it? You know what it is, of course.
Control.
That lady's got control fallacies out the wazoo, and they've given her centuries of stress.
I do not know this term, wazoo, but you are correct.
Do not know this term wazoo. Very good. God damn.
The woman who chooses immortality so that she can ensure her family makes the correct decisions probably has some control issues.
No, I don't have it open still.
And taking out her stress on me.
My alert box hasn't gone off because we haven't got any new subs. We haven't got any new follows. So you need to like, share, and subscribe and tell other people so you can see the cool animation.
Do not take her criticisms too much to heart, my friend. You are simply a convenient target, an element within her control.
Yeah.
That still don't make it much fun.
Yeah.
I will not deny that Senora Deste is a confrontational client, but take her presence as a gift, however you can.
Yeah.
A woman so powerful in her time has much to teach us.
There are positives in nearly every scenario. And when you're struggling with a negative side, it is worth reaching for a positive.
You have all the tools you need at your disposal to help her. Consider your approach.
Control. Emotional reasoning. Personalization. Disqualifying the positive. Nosferatu thinking. That's my toolkit. Let's go.
All right, I think I'm ready.
I will leave you to meditate then. Be well, Samuel, and let this 3,000-year-old tell you, you are a fantastic therapist.
Oh, gosh. You're going to make me blush. Get on out of here, boss. I can handle this.
I know you can.
I think I'm ready. And here she comes. A deep breath. Howdy, Senora. Nice to see you again.
Didn't I tell you to learn how to talk properly?
Liar. You are as pleased to see me as I am to see you, therapist.
Great.
We're going to get straight into it, huh? All right, lay it on me. Why ain't you happy to see me?
Because you are a worm.
Oh, good start.
Yeah, I've been called a lot worse. You're going to need to be more specific than that, Senora.
You are a worm because of the way you wriggled into my mind the last time we spoke, leaving behind loathsome doubts.
Fuck.
The only reason I am here is to confront you for your beastly behavior.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm glad you're here. Where would you like to start with the confrontation?
I come to you in crisis, and you suggest that I am the cause of my own woe. Aren't you supposed to help me?
Senora, you came in here telling me that Art is dead. How am I supposed to help you with that?
I don't know. But telling me that my existence has been a complete waste of time is not comforting.
I definitely don't remember saying that, Senora.
Yeah.
What I said is that you ain't gonna change the world for anyone. But that doesn't mean your work wasn't worth anything.
Yeah, that's a good start. That's a very good start. Good job, Sam.
That's what I call Nosferatu thinking. Remember what we talked about? There's always going to be people who want Space Wars, and there's always going to be people who want Michelangelo.
Michelangelo? Who is Michelangelo?
The guy what painted the Sistine Chapel. Michelangelo.
Michelangelo did no such thing. Perhaps you are thinking of a man from New Jersey, or a turtle.
Or a turtle.
It is Michelangelo.
Or a turtle.
Senora, you want to talk about wasting time? What's using me as a punching bag doing for you?
It's so good.
Very well. I will speak plainly. I am angry with you, Mr. Walls. Yes, perhaps not all I did was a waste of time, effort, and pain, but to think that much of it was. This is most horrifying.
Sounds like a disqualifying the positive then.
What?
Listen carefully, Samuel. It is not only truth that harms the Senora, but also the way she perceives truth.
Emotional
Yes,
reasoning?
Perhaps not.
Listen carefully, Sam.
Yes, perhaps not all I did was a waste of time, effort, and pain, but to think that much of it was. This is most horrifying.
This is
Maybe it'd help if we looked at that wording
Jeez.
you used. A waste of time, effort, and pain. Even if you didn't achieve your goals in them efforts, you can't just say they were a waste of time. Now, if you were sitting in bed for 400 years watching bad TV, then I might agree with you.
A disgusting notion. I am already dead. I do not need my mind to actively decompose by watching Batflix's latest trash.
alright. Somebody doesn't like cake or not.
So maybe let's reserve waste of time for trash, huh?
Sorry, generative lifter.
I can see why it'd be upsetting to see something you put a lot of effort into not work out.
It is more than upsetting. It is devastating.
Devastating.
I did not just fail to bring the understanding of true beauty into the world, I failed to bring it to my own familia. I watched them die, Mr. Walls. It was not the physical death that caused me the greatest pain, but the spiritual death.
I'm so sorry your family didn't want to follow your path into Tradcath.
They had no care for the Gonzaga name nor the Deste name. Despite my sacrifice and all my efforts, they pissed away my legacy.
Oh boy, sounds like there's a lot to unpack here.
It is a dark and painful story, Mr. Walls. A story where my greatest joy turns to ash, and I was powerless to stop it.
God.
When last we met, did I tell you about my son?
No.
No, I don't think so.
Federico. Ah, my dear Federico, my little clown, my delicate artist, my beautiful boy. I suffered for him, Mr. Walls. I put up with my husband, Frankie, and all his brutishness, all his licentiousness. All for Federico.
That's
I raised him to be intelligent and clever, to understand the gentle arts and philosophy. But for all my efforts, I could not cool his Gonzaga blood, and it persisted for a century, to the ruin of our house.
I hate to break it to you, Senora, but every kid's got two parents, whether they know them or not. And kids have got minds of their own.
yeah, that's a control issue.
I refuse to believe that we are trapped by our blood. What was my destiny as a girl? Men of my time said it was to be servile and docile, a political pawn.
Yeah.
What saved me from that fate? Knowledge, study, an appreciation of art, music, history, and literature. In the same way, I should have been able to save my son.
Oh, I don't have a should statement. Ah.
But my failure did not end with my darling Federico. I was only 153 when the once great Gonzaga house surrendered all its honor to the hated Spanish. I stood by, useless as a statue, as the Gonzaga name burned in the war of the Mantuan succession.
So wait, there's a whole ass war going on and you're supposed to stop it? How's that work?
I'll have a whole ass war.
I gave up my humanity to guide my familia through the ages. If I could not do that, what was the point of becoming undead?
The Senora has put a lot of pressure on herself and dire consequences for failure. Would you not say, Sammy?
I gave up my humanity to guide my familia through the ages. If I could not do that, what was the point of becoming undead?
Senor, being a vampire gives us a lot of powers, but it doesn't give us the power to control a single human being, let alone a whole dynasty of them. When the heck have we ever listened to our betters? I ain't no historian, but I know enough to know people are liable to making the same mistakes over and over again. Humans have got that whole pesky free will thing that makes them do dumb things.
Putting him into the boxes for the fallacies is hard, right?
Perhaps you are correct. Stupidity is inevitable. I understand what you are trying to do, Mr. Walls.
What am I trying to do, Senora?
You are trying to tell me that I've been living a lie for more than 400 years.
I ain't doing anything like that, Senora.
Do not fret, peasant. We are in agreement. I have been living a lie. We all have. As I told you last time, I know my own foolishness. But time has not made my mortal concerns fade.
Oof.
In my mind, I know that virtue, love, chastity, wisdom, honor, these kinds of words were created by men to make us supplicant.
Ooh.
But, fool that I am, I still love the idea of virtue. I have loved it ever since I was a child.
Oh, I wish I had labeling so I could say, why do you call yourself a fool for having
I
conviction?
used to love all the tales of Roman mythology. I saw myself in all the goddesses.
Hey, Leota. Yeah, you're right. A good one, too. How pretty is it? It's so nice.
I saw my strength and chastity in Diana. In Minerva, my wisdom. In Venus, I saw my timeless beauty and romantic nature.
Romantic nature.
Yeah.
Romantic nature? What a wretched parrot I hear. Do not look at me so. Yes, I was a romantic. Until reality came crashing down upon me.
Really? That? Okay, tell me how that happened.
Look at this painting I had commissioned.
What am I looking at? I
What?
don't know much about art.
I don't Borgias?
The figures standing upon the arch are Venus and Mars. Mars is portrayed by my idiot husband, Frankie. Beside him, I stand as Venus.
Oh, I'm not sure where I'm supposed to be looking.
You may appreciate my beauty, peasant, but do not let your eyes linger upon my once supple body overlong. This is art, not pornography.
Are you sure you're shaved? I mean, that's not the only deciding factor, but...
But look closer and you will see that even this art is a lie. This is the dream of a foolish girl. To be enjoined in pure romantic love with a handsome warrior. I believed so hard, Mr. Walls, that I thought I could make it true.
He could paint all of those leaves so beautifully and not pubes.
But this handsome man is not Frankie.
Yeah.
This is Frankie. He is not Mars, but Vulcan.
That guy looks like he fucking rocks. Look at it, he's ready to party down. Let's go.
Well, he's got some abs. I'll give him that.
Yeah.
Yes, I did not shy from truth. But see how love's aim goes amiss and strikes his gangrenous penis rather than his heart.
Hey, don't call it gangrenous.
See the grapes behind him, for the drunkard is never far from his true love. See how he flails helplessly, as if begging a true warrior to put a sword in his belly.
I really hate your ex-husband.
I'm sensing we've got some work to do around your husband.
Whatever gave you that impression? The man was created solely to crush my view of the world and my place in it. Naturally, I might have some issues around him.
Created solely to crush your view of the world. Sounds like personalization.
Senora, whatever problems your husband had,
Thanks, Loxy.
they were
You're
problems
right.
he had before he even heard of you. Anyone he could have married would have had the exact same problems with him. Ain't nothing to do with you.
Yes, you are indeed correct. One cannot blame a boar for being a boar, even if you dress him up as a man.
You could have done that as a cool pun. You know, you like cannot blame boar for being a boar, even if you dress it up like a man. That would have been very clever, but no, Isabella.
It would have been better for all if he had married a sow.
Possibly. There's certainly some people who don't want to put into any effort to be empathetic and caring about others. And it feels bad that they are inflicting that lack of care upon other people, you know? That sucks. Yeah.
At least everyone's expectations will be lined up, huh?
Quite so, Mr. Walls. I now believe that Frankie was the truest man I ever met. That is what broke my heart.
That's...
I maintained the illusion that he was my Mars because that is what I needed. I was not ready to face the truth. Oh, but I knew. Even as a 15-year-old girl, I knew. But I could not accept that I was married to the legendary penetrator of Mantua. Is it any wonder that I prefer the lie of Virtu? Is it any wonder that I still prefer to believe it?
Who or what is the penetrator of Mantua?
The problem is men. You are all weak animals who would give up your dignity for an evening in the company of Lucrezia Borgia.
But only Frankie?
Speaking as a man who did spend an evening with Lucrezia Borgia, I can assure you that she is not for everyone.
Okay, it's over.
The problem is men.
Hold your horses there, Senora. I don't even know who the heck Lucretia Borgia is.
Nay.
She is the inventor of twerking. All men flock to her, as I'm sure you would.
What?
They say she was blonde, but she looked like a redhead to me. You know what they say about redheads. Kissed by Lucifer.
Hell yeah.
Dang, Senora. Your overgeneralizations are building up and making you see whole groups of folks as awful.
Thanks, Leona. I guess that is well and truly Frankie. She does sound like a public domain character.
Now, I know you got your reasons for feeling the way that you do, real personal ones. But recognize where your experience is making you narrow your thinking. I mean, Senora, I'll be straight with you, as you're a tough lady. Here's where I think it's coming from.
Ooh. You're just being a real grouch. No.
You're comparing people to gods, including yourself, and everyone's failing that test. Frankie weren't never going to be Mars. You weren't never going to be Venus. You weren't born out of no shell.
And you will never be anything but a peasant.
Heck, Senora, I'll be as surprised as anyone if I get invited to a high society dinner. I can tell I'm hitting a sore spot, but maybe that means that's what we've got to focus on.
Maybe.
I do not like you, Sam Walls. But you are correct. I betray my own purity of spirit with my anger. But I say, why should we not aim to be like the gods? Humanity is not worth preserving when we are such petty creatures.
Now, like, this is definitely disqualifying positive, right?
Wait just a minute there,
Fuck.
Senora. Humanity ain't worth preserving? I say you're wrong. Damn wrong. Look at yourself. Look at what you've created. Ain't no goddess has ever done what you've done. You brought some of the finest art ever produced into existence. You ran your own city, which is something I'm pretty sure Venus never did.
Whoa.
I suppose that is true. Our mortal concern seems so pedestrian, though.
Yeah, it's all Space Wars.
Senora, humanity is all we got. Even if we're immortal, every word we're speaking is a result of our humanity. Yeah, we make a lot of mistakes, and some of us sound like peasants, but all that messiness is worth something. It makes us who we are.
Yeah, right?
Senora, I don't think you're a goddess. I think you're way more interesting and impressive, because you're real.
Well, you have great wisdom for a peasant, Sam. And your kerchief is a fetching shade of red that matches your eyes.
Well, thank you.
Well, thanks, Senora. Let's focus on you, though. What happens if you're not that perfect goddess?
I suppose I have always felt that if I could not live to my ideals, I would be left with nothing. I would be discarded like Frankie's mistresses and die of some sex disease.
Senora, I don't think there's any universe where you're discarded. A woman of your strength and intelligence ain't ever gonna be forgotten.
It's not all or nothing.
Maybe things didn't turn out the way you hoped, but you made do with what you had pretty damn well. No matter what, you're holding a pretty nice set of cards. Just because you don't have a straight flush doesn't mean your life was worth nothing.
Please, Mr. Walls, do not say toilet words in front of a lady. But I understand your meaning. You are correct, I think. It is hard to imagine my falling so far. Oh, Mr. Walls, I know you speak the truth. I wielded great strength in an age where women were not respected.
Yeah.
But I alone feel the weight of my family's collapse, so I feel responsible for it.
Are you the only person?
Does
What?
Senora Deste's feeling of responsibility for her family, does Senora Deste's feeling of responsibility for her family make them her responsibility, Samuel?
Wow, that line read was repeated. That's interesting.
But I alone feel the weight of my
Does Senora Deste...
I know it's a lot to bear, Senora, but that weight you're carrying doesn't mean you're the one destined to carry the weight. You get what I'm saying?
That one threw me for a bit of a loop.
This sounds like some of that excellent peasant wisdom of yours. Please explain.
What I'm saying is that feeling you've got doesn't create truth. You feel that you have ultimate responsibility for your family, but that feeling doesn't make it so.
You don't have a particular fear about dying of some sex disease?
Yes, I see. No one gave me this responsibility other than myself.
Alright, well, you two clearly need to get a vampire therapist. Or just remember to internalize the things your actual therapist is saying, right? Yes, I see. No one gave me this responsibility other than myself. Terrible accent on that one. Jimbles, try again.
That's exactly it, Senora.
But I was the only person capable of preserving my family, Sam. That is what makes my failure so poignant.
That's a control fallacy.
Senora, what if you weren't the only person capable of preserving your family? What if no one person was?
If you know where you could get a vampire therapist and you're not sharing that information with me, Loxy, that's a severe friendship failure. Like, Come on. I gotta make some decisions.
I don't know. I never considered such a thing.
Well, try to consider it now. What if you accepted that whatever was going to happen to your family was going to happen?
You sound like a Calvinist.
Never mind with the labeling for now. How would you feel if you knew nobody can control what happened to the Gonzaga house?
I think I would feel relieved.
Senora, whatever happened to your family, fault never belonged to you. You were the one who named yourself responsible. No one else did. Look at who you are. And I think you can be damned impressed at who that lady is.
I mean, wow, thanks, I'm cured, but still, this is some significant things to cover.
Damn you.
Too late, Senora.
I'm thrice cursed under Cain's sigil.
Look, let's wrap up tonight, huh? I think you did great. You probably got some stuff to think about.
Yes.
And other vampire
Thank you,
stuff.
Sam. I will see you in a month.
Of course, Senora. I'm looking forward to it.
Goodbye, Sam.
Samuel, it appears you have an admirer.
Oh, shucks.
I don't want a personal connection. I want to have a professional connection.
I think Isabella d'Este has liked fewer than 5 people in her hundreds of years of existence, and you are one of them. Remember, though, that romantic entanglements between a therapist and client are absolutely forbidden, in case you are tempted.
He's making fun of you.
Come on now, Andy. I ain't gonna do anything like that.
He's making fun of you, buddy.
Of course, should the mind wander into fantasy, that is entirely acceptable.
Oh, you're just messing with me now.
I could not help it. It's rather cute. The First Lady of the Renaissance and humble cowboy Samuel Walls. Quite a picture, isn't
Can't
it?
believe Andrew Marcos just said it's totally fine to jerk off about your clients.
Okay, that's it. I'm getting a drink.
I'm sorry, Samuel. Please, drink. Ask Crimson for the Royal Virgin. It's my very best. I think you deserve it.
What are you on about?
Yeah, whatever. You have a good night, Andy.
Rest in peace, Samuel.
Rest in peace. Oh, Loxy, you're gonna have to explain that one.
And I thought I had family problems.
You can link it to Discord. Oh, yeah, okay, that's right. That's right. That's so good.
I need me a Crimson special after that one.
She doesn't
Howdy,
share that,
Crimson.
buddy.
Think you could fashion me up one of them blood cocktails?
I've had a blood cocktail at least once.
I reckon so. Got a lot on your mind tonight, cowboy.
Yeah, just thinking about family stuff. I got this client who's got some real tough family issues to go through, and it got me thinking about my own. Or my lack of family, at least.
Gotta be careful. Sam is gonna buy another horse if we don't stop him.
You got any family left?
I've got a great granddaughter kicking around apparently, but she's got no connection to this old cowpoke.
Yet.
Not sure what she'd say if a man dressed like a cowboy introduced himself as her vampire relative from the 1800s.
Well, she'll probably up her dosage.
I see your point. Sounds like you don't have many family problems then.
I reckon so. Family means a lot to my client, though. I hope my perspective's still useful.
Family in the sense of legacy, too. Like, she clearly cared for her son. Did she care for grandson?
How do you think she's handling her
Probably.
therapy so far?
I don't know. I got all these cognitive distortions, but I don't always get them right. Especially when she's talking about highfalutin stuff I don't understand.
Yeah.
She's talking about wars between great European families, popes gone wild, all this crazy stuff I just can't relate to.
But the distortions are the same, aren't they?
Yeah, I guess so. She can talk about family dynasties all she likes, but she's still human.
Haha.
Attaboy. That's what Andy says, especially when he's talking about the really old vampires.
Well, thanks, Crimson. So how about you? You got any family back home?
Yeah, I've got some family. We don't talk too much. I went a little wild after I got my diagnosis.
Yeah, probably rock climbing.
They're not too fond of my lifestyle choices, but hey, at least I'm alive. And I get to hear them gossiping about how I don't age.
Well, you chose a good age to stop getting older. I often wish I weren't such a dusty old corpse, but death comes when it comes.
Sometimes he's still waiting for me to give him an opening.
Death always is. Pardon me for asking, but is there a reason you're choosing not to be a vampire?
There is, but I'm not talking about it tonight. A little mystery makes life a bit spicier, don't you think, cowboy?
Oh, I wasn't trying to pry or nothing.
Bullshit. I know you're curious. Here, consolation prize.
But what is it?
Sucks to be transparent.
Black Widow. Black stuff's just food coloring. Figured you were in the mood for a scary lady tonight.
Wasn't I supposed to ask about a virgin?
Thank you kindly, ma'am. Think I'll take this to my coffin for a quiet night.
You do that, honey. And don't spill in Andy's coffin. He'll act like he's not mad, but you know he's mad.
Why should I be upset? What has happened has happened.
Oh my god.
Not bad, cowboy. Get the hell out of here.
Okay, I'm going.
What has happened?
See you later, Crimson. There we are. Gotta get me one of these fancy coffins for back home. Now, let's see. What am I in the mood for? I think I'm either gonna find a passage from Little Women that suits me, or I'm gonna watch Shemp get smacked in the head with a hot iron, or I'm going to bed. These guys are great.
Who's Larry Curligan, though? Who's Shemp, anyway? Sorry to tease them, Stitches.
Well, that's enough fun for one
Yeah,
day.
that's enough of that.
Good night, son. See you in hell.
Samuel, greetings. I believe you are seeing our actor friend tonight, are you not?
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I guess so. I still ain't sure I'm the right therapist for that fella.
There may not be a right therapist for him, but let us think positively. He has put himself in your care, and that is a tremendous step.
Yeah, I guess so. I'm thinking it's gonna be an uphill battle, though.
At least his core distortion is clear, don't you think? You know what it is, I am sure.
It's gotta be emotional reasoning. I ain't never seen someone so dramatic.
Right?
Certainly Edmund's thinking is derived from his intense emotions, but what spurs his emotions?
Oof.
Is it disqualifying the positive?
You do know which client you are seeing tonight. Inflating the positive might be more appropriate.
Right. Guess I had a little brain fart. It's personalization, right?
Oh,
Of course, a distortion common to many with narcissistic tendencies.
That makes so much sense. Damn
Yep,
it.
it's the Edmund Keane show, all day, every day.
I recognize your disdain, but pause a moment. It must be difficult for Edmund to make everything all about him all the time, don't you think?
Yeah, it's an important distinction, you know?
He doesn't have to make everything about him, though.
It's how his brain is currently trained. We're going to try and retrain it with him, so he doesn't have to carry that burden.
He doesn't know that. Keep digging, Samuel. You will find his truth. Choose your distortions well.
I think we definitely disqualifying the positive, labeling, emotional thinking. Got an opinion, chat? What do you think? Let's take overgeneralization then.
I think I'm all holstered up now.
I kind of wish I had 6, right? Quick draw them out.
Very good, Samuel. I wish you patience and compassion. Good luck.
See you later, Andy. All right, now what did Andy teach me? Breathe. I think I'm ready. Right on time. I think I hear him coming. Hey, Edmund, good to see you. How you been feeling these past few weeks?
Edmund!
Empty, my dear boy. Empty. I am but a vessel made for a single purpose.
Oh, buddy.
But alas, and alack, that purpose is in supply most rare.
You mean acting, right?
Aye, that's the rub. Acting, my dear boy. Acting. My thespian blood goes rancid with stagnation, and the only cure seems to me irreprehensible now.
Yeah?
I do not wish to face these mortal directors, for they dare to tell me my art.
Ain't that what directors are supposed to do?
Oh, my dear boy. Some are born great, some achieve greatness, and others have greatness thrust upon them.
Okay.
No director can thrust greatness upon the already great. In mine own case, mine greatness hath already been achieved.
I love how we know this is a cognitive distortion, but I don't have the appropriate one holstered.
Well, maybe you can help me understand a little better. You said that greatness was thrust upon you, right? How did that happen?
Ah, you are curious to hear what circumstances created this actor non pare. I cannot blame you. Well, recounting such a history will please me indeed. I first rattled the foundations of the stage as a mere babe. Indeed, too young for memory, and yet old enough to command attention.
Goddamn.
Clad only in swaddling cloth at the age of 4, I was Cupid himself. But my arrows seemingly went astray, for the entirety of the audience fell in love with me.
Okay.
It is the stuff of legend. For tender as my mind was, I could not bear witness to my own greatness. But it does prove that I was indeed born great.
But you said greatness was thrust upon you.
It was a matter of necessity. You may not guess it from my gentle speech, but I am no lordling. Selfishly, and surely to spite me, my father shuffled off his mortal coil when I was but a babe in arms, ere I ever graced the stage. It left my mother and myself in dire straits.
Hold on a sec. You said your old man died selfishly.
Selfishly?
What do you mean?
Well, what kind of a father drinks himself to death when he has a beautiful baby son at home? I at least waited until my son was older before I did the same.
Amazing.
Eddie, come on. Listen to yourself. I'm sure you didn't die to spite your son, just as your pa didn't die to spite you. I ain't gonna deny his choices hurt you, but they weren't all about you.
Forgive me then. 'Tis ever the fate of an actor to feel every emotion more keenly. The situation my mother and I were left in was most precarious. We were the lowest of the low, you see. We lived in the rookeries and begged for our bread. But he that hath wit must make content with his fortunes fit. And oh, did we beg. She was my Queen Gertrude, and I her filthy little Hamlet. Did I mention I played Hamlet at age 14?
Well done, Ben.
No, I hadn't heard that.
Well, anyway, my mother was a competent actress, but it was my wit alone that saved us from destitution.
That, it sounds like personalization to me. I think you're right, Leona.
Edmund is discounting his mother's contribution to his survival almost entirely.
Well, anyway.
It sounds like
Well,
your
find
mother
the
did a
positive.
lot
Yeah,
for
alright.
you. I'm sure the people loved you, but could you have done it alone?
Yeah, it just didn't seem entirely like her work was positive, you know? I guess that's why it's discounting.
I suppose my dramaturgical purpose would have been lost without a scene partner, but it was I whom the throngs came to see.
Okay.
I ain't saying that ain't the case, but you might be disqualifying your mother's contribution to your greatness, right?
I don't see how that is relevant, but I suppose so. Let me continue unabated, sir. Forsooth, I was so prodigious that, at the age of 7, I garnered the attention of one Reginald Flopbot of the Worthington Flopbots.
The most British sentence I've ever heard.
'Twas he who paid to get me off the streets and into the dormitories. He said, "Edmund, my cherub, the streets are not for you. One day, you will be the greatest of actors.
Hey, how about that? You went and proved him right.
Piffle. Master Flopbot never gave a fig about my potential. I was a prop to him, a symbol of his generosity and high breeding.
Well, that's not.
Every month, he would stage an elaborate party with all the well-to-do society of London. The dandy fop would stand upon a dais and announce himself as the savior of the city's poor. That was my cue. I would be lowered down from the rooftop, wearing naught but swaddling clothes and a set of opulent wings. The gentry's delight was my dungeon, but I would flit among them, reprising my breakout role as Cupid by shooting little arrows of love at them. At the age of 7, it was most disquieting. At 11, on the cusp of manhood, the shame was too much to bear.
Dang, Eddie, that sounds awful. That Flopbot fella had no right to do that to you.
Yeah, don't dangle a small child from the ceiling.
No, indeed. I remember my last performance quite vividly. The titters and leering glances from the guests linger ever in the back of my mind. And fool that I was, I played my part still. I should have plunged mine arrows into that fool Flopbot's chest instead of shaming myself.
Like, should useful here, but labeling, you're not a fool.
You were a fool for playing your part. What choice did you have, Eddie?
Yeah.
It is simple logic. Only a fool plays the fool repeatedly. Many a bottom have I known
That's
that
ridiculous.
never played the Dane, preferring the comfort of a
I
familiar role.
have lifted the child a lot today, so my arms are looking large, and I'm letting you enjoy that with me. Because I have been able to do traditional exercise in some time.
Well, Eddie, it's a little reductive to say that everyone who plays the fool is a bottom. There ain't nothing wrong with letting your partner take the lead.
Fucking great, Sam. Hell yeah.
Oh, ye plebeian! I speak of Nick Bottom, from the Bard's Journey Through Whimsy that is a Midsummer Night's Dream.
Yeah. Even so, though, if you call yourself a fool, you're doing the same kind of typecasting, ain't you?
I suppose so. Regardless, I did not suffer the indignity for long. I swore that night to never be a puppet again. I stole away and gave myself to the mercy of Poseidon. The bargain was struck, and he swallowed up my hated swaddling clothes and wings. In desperation, I signed on with a mercantile shipping agency. I thought perhaps that my body would bend more than my soul. But oh, did I toil! Life upon the sea is most cruel. Biting winds did carve my visage. Low words hardened my heart, and heavy weights left me bent. By the time I had fulfilled my bargain with the Lord of the Sea, I had become an older man, my efforts etched into every crease on my face.
Dang, sounds intense. How long were you at this job?
2 months.
An age, a life. 6 months, each one a hungry leech torn from my bleeding body. I am convinced this gauntlet was prepared for me alone, for ne'er in history has one so blessed by grace been subjected to such toil.
I feel like emotional reasoning is the most appropriate.
I do not have to be 3,000 years old to know that many have suffered more than Edmund. He truly believes the world revolves around...
I am convinced this...
Specialization.
Eddie, I gotta stop you there. It's gonna be a lot easier to accept your truth when you realize you ain't alone in your suffering. Hell, there ain't nothing more human than suffering. And historically, kids ain't had it so good.
But none suffered as I suffered. A boy such as I was not meant for such misery.
Compadre, I had my first kill and no home at 12 years old. My brother had a stutter his whole life on account of the regular beatings my stepdaddy gave him.
Sounds good, Emma.
Maybe your suffering felt like the only suffering in the world, but it wasn't. And it'll hurt less when you realize you weren't alone. But keep telling me your story. I already know there ain't nobody like you in the world, so don't worry on that account.
That's a good way to put it, Sam.
Now then, at last, we close the circle as nature ever demands. I return to London and into the graces of my dear Uncle Moses and his comely mistress, Charlotte.
Where was he earlier?
'Twas she who filled my dramaturgical quiver with dire arrows fletched by the bard himself. And when my deft fingers plucked the bow of humanity, at last I was free.
Huh?
I cannot speak more plainly. The good woman taught me the works of Shakespeare, and armed with this knowledge, I conquered the stage and saved myself from toil.
Oh, well, right.
And so, you see, the die was cast from the moment I was born. The stage was made for me, and it was my skill upon it that saved me from the streets and saved me once again from a life at sea.
Eddie, my man, I
Yeah,
got
more
some good news and
personalization, I
bad
guess.
news for you. The truth of the matter is, fate doesn't give a stable full of horse shit about you. Ain't none of us are that special. The world ain't waiting for us to show up. It's just gonna keep turning.
Perhaps you are right, my dear boy. You are correct. My success was not because of the fates, but in spite of them. The fates said, Edmund, you are a child of the slums. But I shamed the immortal hags in my own manner.
No.
The stage roused my spirit. Thus I knew my destiny lay upon it.
You mean
You got it, amigo.
Emotional
You
reasoning?
wanted the stage to be your ticket out of the bad days. Maybe that's why you were so successful. Your intrinsic motivation made you keep pushing to be better.
yeah?
Tis so. Tis so. The threat of the rookeries loomed ever upon my overladen spirit. Acting presented itself as a way to keep myself out of them. It is natural that I should weigh its importance so heavily.
Where it's important so heavily.
I can see why acting means so much to you, Eddie. I probably feel damn near the same about the things that got me out of my bad days.
Like therapizing.
Thank you. Then you understand how my alienation from the theater does pain me so. And yet, the cure is as deadly as the illness. These damnable critics! Not a single lifetime among them, and they deign to challenge my interpretation of the written word. They simply cannot relate to my singular experience. I will bare my soul upon that stage, and they will all sneer and malign it on their internet profiles.
For someone that lives for adulation, Edmund has a dim view of his fans, don't you think?
Disqualifying the
They
positive. then.
simply can
Well, Eddie, the way I see it, you're not on stage doing vampire plays. You're portraying the whole human experience. If you want your audience to respect you, you gotta respect your audience. They might not have lived a long time, but they're still human.
Scarcely. Critics are but an afterbirth of creation. But as you say, they are humans, and for certain they do bleed.
So keep that in mind and you might find your job easier. I took a look at your Wikipedia entry last night, Eddie. Maybe you've had a few bad critics here and there, but history says you're a legend, and your work speaks for itself.
Yeah, right?
Hell, you were around before film was ever a thing, and people still remember you.
Ah, your words warm me, as an ersatz son for the one we have forsaken. With thy help shall I gird my soul, mayhap, and grace the stage once more.
I think we need to get to the point where you have enough internal strength to get you through some bad reviews, rather than just girding your soul.
Well, let's talk about that then. What's the biggest thing stopping you from getting back up on that stage right now?
That it all simply might not be worth it. Why should I bear my damned soul when the audience hath not the sight to see it?
Maybe I can ask you a question then. What if there were no audience?
No audience? Do you know what a stage is, sir? It is a platform where life in brief may be portrayed. It is a platform because it is separate from the audience. Without such, the stage ceases to be a stage.
As in, if a tree falls in the woods and no one's around to hear it, does it make a sound?
Simply but elegantly put, my dear boy. Without the audience, the stage loses all meaning, like a monarch without a kingdom.
Just a minute there, partner. You're saying that
think
the
so.
stage is nothing without the audience. But I gotta ask you, where does the acting come from?
Ah, but from simple tongues, the purest of queries, narrow in breadth, but as deep as the sea. The source of acting is everything, my boy. The beating of every heart, the cry of every child, the fluttering of a butterfly's wings. The roots of acting are intertwined with those of life itself.
Oh boy, it is way past break time.
So does acting come from the audience or from everything?
I don't know how much longer this will go on, so let's have a break now. Also, keep your eye on my cool transition. Whoop! Back. The cocktail tonight is scotch. No, it's not just scotch. It is another unmixed drink, though. It is Chateau Sorok Soju. What we have tonight? I need him bouncing and moaning on it. Fuck, I love those memes so bad. They're incredible. The varied nature of drinking various types of alcohol and its response in your brain? I don't know. Let's play some vampire therapist while I drink this entire bottle of soju. It's fine, it's only 16%.
My dear boy, you prove yet again, as the bard oft did, that 'tis the fool who sees the truth as it is. I bow to your simple wisdom.
Yeah, it's easier to just say, hey, I think you're right.
Thanks, I guess.
Yeah, instead of that.
Let's figure out how we can bring it back to acting. Forget the audience. I know we can't see in mirrors and all, but what do you think of filming yourself?
Brilliant notion. Yes, I shall become my own audience. I shall bring myself to rapture. Forsooth, if I cannot pleasure myself, whom can I pleasure?
That's actually relatively good advice. That last part. In the sense for like the if I cannot pleasure myself, whom can I pleasure? That's a good lesson to internalize.
We're still talking about acting, right?
No, he's joking it.
Oh, my dear boy, the pleasures of the flesh are secondary to one who knows character above all else. Indeed, we speak of the noble art. I shall do as you suggest. If there is one on this lonely orb that can inspire an artist such as I, it is myself.
So you're going to become a director then?
I ain't sure I'd put it exactly that way, but I think you're touching on the thing we've been talking about. The motivation's got to come from you, amigo.
We are of one mind, dear boy. Perhaps I left my muse in the mortal realm, but I shall find him once more. Not only for myself, but also for my public.
For my pubic.
Yea, the masses flock to my Wikipedia page as moths to a flame, each a silent plea for the return of the one true artisan of the stage.
Now hold your horses there, fella. You're reading a little too much into the whole Wikipedia thing.
Horses.
There's 1.5 million reasons why people might be looking you up. I mean, I hear tell the biggest Wikipedia page out there is the one for that coronavirus that got all them mortals all worked up. And I'm pretty sure they don't want that coming back.
And thus dost thou scuttle a burgeoning friendship with the cannons of enmity. Why must you challenge me so?
Is that enmity? Really?
That's my job, compadre. Ain't we had some good breakthroughs today? We couldn't have gotten there if I'd been busy agreeing with everything you said.
That's an important, very important lesson, that's for fucking sure.
Oh, very well. But I still say you are most vexatious.
I've been called worse. I think we got some homework for you, though, right? You're gonna film yourself and do some acting for its own sake.
That's also a difficult lesson.
We'll check back in a few weeks. But Eddie, I think you're doing great. We made a lot of progress today.
Naturally. The human condition is my oeuvre. Nevertheless, you have been a competent guide. You have reminded me of what is most important in unlife. Me.
Okay.
I should like to give you a gift.
Okay.
Oh, come on. You don't need to do nothing like that.
Nonsense. It is meaningless to me, but it is beyond price. It is my headshot, signed with my autograph.
Okay. Alright. Okay.
Oh, thanks, Eddie.
Cherish it always. If you help me to find my muse, then it is a gift even more precious. And I will find it ere we next meet. Of that, I promise you.
Well, let's not put the pressure on, amigo. Just enjoy some acting. That's all I'm asking for. I'll see you in a few weeks then, okay?
Yeah, don't try and save the day. Just
Verily, so it shall be.
enjoy the things you actually
Godspeed
enjoy.
then, boy.
You know, that's
Thou
a
shalt
good
witness
goal.
me new and on. Farewell.
A job well done, Samuel. I was particularly impressed at the way you challenged Edmund on what acting means to him.
Yeah, he's a weird fella, but I think he's gonna do okay.
It can be hard for our kind to retain our intrinsic motivation. Something must keep him going. I do hope that he will find his.
Hard enough to do it when you're human. You don't have to live for 400 years.
But you, Samuel, must rest. The work you have done in these past 2 months deserves to be celebrated. So do not linger here in this dusty room.
How are we celebrating? I've already got a gift.
Perhaps you can even be encouraged to dance.
I think I'm gonna need a lot more therapy myself to get to that point.
What if they did a square dancing night just for you?
Very well, Samuel. Then let us at least make sure you get well nourished. Find a friendly neck downstairs, my friend. You deserve it. And rest in peace.
Will we find a friendly neck, or are we going to have a cocktail? I think we should try and set up some square dancing. Scootin' baby.
Well, they say don't let your babies grow up to be cowboys, but maybe don't let them be actors either.
Yeah.
Time to dish with Crimson a little. I gotta talk to some more folks, though. Andy's mainly my teacher, so I'm starting to feel like Crimson's my only friend.
See if you can get Maxie and Reinhard's phone number.
Hey, only friend.
Good start.
Excuse me?
What? Oh, yeah, Crimson. Hey, Crimson.
Are you blushing, vampire?
Blushing vampire?
No, that ain't possible.
It's just he's the blush for life.
It's all right. It's nice to hear from a vampire who's younger than Jesus. Now, let's hear how this week went before you go out there and find friend number 2.
Hey, you think Sam believes in Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints?
All right, real quick. This client of mine, he had a real bad time as a kid. Well, worse than I did, it sounds like.
Like, is he a Mormon vampire? Is her a Mormon vampire? That's something to explore. Hold on, I'm just gonna Google something real quick. Mormon vampire. No, okay. The Mormon as Vampire by Brigham Young University Scholars Archive. Nice. Is this free access? Oh, very good, Leona. Free access, you can download it. PDF available, baby. Yes, please. 2007. Come on. I can't reference anything that's less than more than 10 years old, so like, I figure that's not a new one. What we should do is see if anything else has cited it. Included in Plumex. Abstracts. No, who cited it? Come on. Do you have a DOI that I can search? No? Okay. I'll do more searches later. Do I need to get too deep into Brigham Young University's offerings on vampires? Maybe. I'm submitting my last assignment for the term, so gotta do something to kill some time. Edit your Fenner game. See the people you love. Give them attention. Enjoy having slightly less pressure on you for a bit.
But he found fame early, and now he's talking about fate and how he's destined for greatness again.
Met plenty of destined for greatness folk in DC. I lost patience for it. How do you think you handled him?
I learned my lessons from the last session. He didn't threaten to jump off a cliff this time or anything.
Yeah, progress.
I gave him an assignment to film himself doing something he loves doing. He seemed excited about that.
You're either brave or adorable, Sam Walls.
Yeah, he was straight up joking it, so
There's
seemed
nothing
pretty
brave
excited.
about it. As for adorable, well, some have used words to that effect before.
Okay, now I know you're confident enough to get out there. Giddy up.
Here we go. Right to the edge of the dance floor, but not on it. Don't want anyone getting any funny ideas.
do a shepherd special. Arms tight, shoulders hunched, wiggle a little bit, but not too much.
Once more alone, I see.
Ah, pen up to Bella. Welcome back.
You scared the shit out of me.
But you can't shit. You're a vampire. Know that I see much, vampire, and that I like what I see.
She get her number as well.
Oh, it's her again. Well, I was hoping to find a mortal friend, or at least a willing Nick. Now, what do mortals of this time talk about?
Let's be awkward about music.
They ever play the classics in here? A little Oh Susanna or Old Folks at Home?
No, they don't. All your favorite songs have been long forgotten now.
Oh,
Well, what songs do you like?
If I told you, would you know them?
Probably not.
I see.
You see a lot, don't you?
Why don't you tell me what you see?
she would be a slightly complicated, but not too bad, costume for cosplay.
I see an interesting mortal. Someone observant. Someone who isn't afraid to have their own style.
And Optibella would be a damn good costume to put to cosplay.
That is what you observe. It is not what you see.
Well, fine, you tell me what I see.
Oh, okay.
You see the long vein across my throat. It looks very juicy, doesn't it?
Well, now that you mention it, it does.
Then consent is given. Do not hesitate, vampire.
Shucks, that was something else. You got good circulation there.
Aw, shucks. You got lots of blood up in their neck.
I see. And what do I taste like?
Kinda earthy. You could use some iron. What do you eat most often?
I eat a lot of carrots. They're supposed to be good for one's eyesight, and I like to see.
She likes to see, huh? Violets. Is it just because she's lavender colored, or?
I see now that you are tired and wish to enter your state of torpor.
Well, maybe I'll see myself out then.
Get her number, you little shit.
That's offensive. I'm going to leave now.
Oh my god, dude.
Shoot, was it something I said? Well, at least I got a full belly. And now, time for some shut-eye.
Oh my god. If you've driven away one of the coolest characters, I'm gonna be so mad at you. Next step is, hey, you do taste pretty nice,
Good
if
evening,
earthy.
Samuel. I believe you are seeing the ancient
I'd
one
like to
tonight,
message
aren't
you at some point. Do you think I could have your number?
Ancient one. She's 1,200 years younger than you, Andy.
I suppose I was engaging in a bit of labeling myself. You are, of course, correct. Still, her age presents a unique challenge. After one lives for 1,000 years, history seems less a line than a fixed point. Speaking of which, I imagine you can guess what distortion an old one such as Medi might fixate upon.
Overgeneralization?
It's gotta be overgeneralization. She really is basing all her opinions on her experiences when she was alive.
Very good, Samuel. I heard tales of her island in my time, but they were never peaceful tales. I am not surprised she finds safety in her narrative. What other distortions do you think Medi might exhibit?
I think labeling is generally a good one. Yeah, control's also pretty useful.
Good to go, boss.
Then I will leave you to it. Good luck, my friend.
Hello again, strange cowboy man.
It's good to see you again, Mitty. How's the past month been for you?
I went for a walk, just like you suggested. Didn't like it very much.
Well, thanks for going on that walk. So, tell me, what didn't you like about it? How did it feel?
Oh, well, I'm sorry to hear that. What was so unpleasant about it?
It's very loud outside, and dirty, and smelly. Everywhere I walked, it smelled like mortal food, which is disgusting. If they knew how good it felt to drink blood, maybe they would not eat so much of this pizza food. There's so many cars, too. I don't like cars. They have hateful faces. They look so angry all the time.
I feel a little called out, maybe?
Stepped in a wee, killed 7 men, and got splashed by a bus. It's really quite awful.
You killed 7 men on your walk?
You killed 7 men? How the heck did that happen?
Oh, that. was inconvenient, you know. Normally I have my zealots do that kind of thing for me. They take care of the bodies. But I had to do all that silly work myself. And now there are always police sirens going off, which interrupts my streams and makes my followers very sad.
Why did that all happen?
Because they found the bodies everywhere, silly. I don't know what to do with my rubbish.
I meant why the killing? You didn't happen to make a few assumptions based on past experiences? Why kill a bunch of men?
Oh, well, they looked at me. I know what mortals who look at me are like. If I let them live, they'd probably try to burn me as a witch. I could do nothing but kill them.
Hold on a sec. You know what mortals who look at you are like. How do you know? Are you reading their minds?
I don't have to read their minds, sweetling. I have known manlings for a very long time.
I get what you're saying. But here in this room, at least, we gotta be honest with ourselves. Do you really know what they were thinking?
Silly mouseling. I do not need to know what a wolf is thinking to know what a wolf is.
Does that mean every wolf you see is gonna try to eat you?
They may be dangerous, but a lot of the time they just keep the distance.
We don't have wolves anymore. They're all gone now.
So maybe you can see where that kind of thinking can be a problem. It was scared people who killed all them wolves, right?
Ooh, got her, Sam.
Now I know that thinking doesn't come from nowhere. Old as you are, I'm sure you've seen some real awful stuff.
Ooh, good work, Sam. Validate her. Her experiences do in fact matter.
That's right. I haven't killed you, though. You are kind, little mouse.
Well, let's lay off the mouse stuff a little.
I'm sorry. I don't wish for you to scurry away into a little hole. Do you want to hear why I feel the way I do?
Yes.
I would appreciate it greatly, miss.
Let me tell you about men from my time, then. Let's start with me, Da.
I don't know this for certain, but I bet this isn't gonna be particularly easy.
My father sold me and my mother to a chief of a rival clan for a golden necklace.
That is just horrifying.
Oh, don't fuss, sweetling. It was the most beautiful golden necklace. At least 2 girls' worth. My father got quite a deal, really.
You're using humor, but I'm sure that must have been heartbreaking for you.
It was common at the time. I suppose I should have been glad to be the possession of an old chief.
Should?
Whose should is that, matey?
Yours? Someone else's?
Why, everyone thought that. They were ever so surprised when I ran away. I did wish I could feel the way they felt, but I simply could not.
Yeah.
I think most of us vampires had it rough as kids. Maybe most kids have it rough. I don't know.
I'm generally of the opinion most kids have it rough.
But the one thing I do know is that kids don't come with the same shoulds their parents have got. I think we're learning all them shoulds ended up being a load of horse shit anyway.
I knew girls who did as they were told. They would have been thrilled to have been the concubine of a powerful chief. But, oh, he was so old. Cormac O'Neill, the oldest man I had ever seen. I remember thinking, where is his face? Because I could not see it under all his disgusting wrinkles.
How old was the guy?
38.
38.
Ding, ding, ding. Good job.
That was pretty old in your time, huh? I wish I'd died at 38. Could have been a better looking corpse.
Well, he left an awful looking corpse. His face was all...
Amazing. Thanks, Mitty.
I'm guessing you had something to do with that, huh?
Not me. My boyfriend, Abertach. He told me he'd set me free. I suppose he did. He created a delightful poison for me. He said it would make my dear master die in excruciating pain. So, one night I lay with him, and that means I did sex, and when he was pleased, I fed him the poison mead. Abby did what I couldn't, and the old fool finally died.
You're saying your boyfriend killed your husband, but it sounds to me like you did the real work.
Whoop, there you go.
He mixed up some herbs, sure, but you were the one that had to sleep with the old man and get the poison in him.
Yeah, that's a lot of work.
Abby made sure I knew it was because of him that I was free. He said it could never have happened without him.
Right. Sounds like he tried to impose a cognitive distortion upon you.
He didn't have to be brave to mix up a potion. I think the bravery was all you, Mitty. Don't disqualify the idea that the person who set you free was you.
You know, I think you're absolutely right, strange cowboy man. I did do all the work. But Abby never let me forget that he was the one who freed me. He wanted me to worship him.
Yeah, it's beneficial for him.
A fella who demands to be worshipped is always going to be a dangerous man.
That's why I gotta be careful of cults.
Dangerous men have always been drawn to me. Must be something about the way I am.
Oh, that's... labeling.
So what happened after you killed Cormac?
The Neil clan came after me and Abby. They found him, took their swords and went, stab, stab.
Personalization?
Stabby,
Yeah, that's a
stabby.
good point.
Stab, stab,
That's
stab.
a good point. And it's an important one too, because, you know, they make their own choices.
But Abby just laughed. That's how I found out he was undead already. Gave me the willies. When they couldn't kill Abby, they decided to kill me instead. And that made him very upset indeed, because I belonged to him.
That must have been terrifying.
I suppose. Mostly hard. Lots and lots. Getting stabbed is much fun when you're immortal.
I ain't too fond of it as a vampire neither.
Abby fed me his blood, though, and then I became like him. When I woke up, the Neil clan who tried to kill us were all properly dead.
Yeah, probably very dead.
Well, almost dead. They still had a lot of blood left, and I was hungry. The Neil clan was ever so cross, though. They captured Abby and sealed him in a tomb with some forgotten spells. He's still there, as far as I know.
Wonder how quickly that was.
What happened to you?
I didn't have a future with my tribe. I insulted both my clan and Cormac's clan by killing their chief. My only choice was to be alone. That's the wisest choice.
That kind of all or nothing thinking
Yeah,
can
there
get
you
us
go.
in
All or
trouble.
nothing.
If we think all is lost, we're liable to do things we wouldn't normally do. I know I did some stuff I regretted in them moments, and I sure wish I'd
Good
taken a
job,
breath and
Loxley.
stepped back in all them times.
You sound so sad when you say that, funny cowboy man.
Funny cowboy man.
I'm all right. I'm just saying, you're a capable lady. You've always got more options than you think in a bad moment.
Oh, but you're just a child. I don't want you to be sad.
Well, let's focus on you, huh? You say you've been living alone ever since then?
Shameful rebuff. Let's focus on you, okay?
Of course, my silly cowboy man. We aren't mortal anymore. We will always end up alone. Why waste my time?
Again, Medi deals in extremes. Long life often makes one's interpretation of life stark.
Right.
Of course, my silly cow.
Come on, Mitty. You're distorting a lot of reality there. All vampires ain't lonely. Some of us choose to be, but not all of us. Sure, mortals have a habit of dying, but there will always be more of them. Not to mention all the vampires out there. Heck, I used to be in a vampire gang. Cult. Well, kind of both. They weren't good company, but they certainly weren't lonely.
Like, just a lot of them could fit. It's one of those choose the most correct option out of these multiple choice that always feel like a trap, even if they are a great way to assess learning.
I mean, ain't
It's
we
more
talking?
black and white
Well, there's loads of vampires out there who think like you do, and they're fulfilling their own prophecies of loneliness.
You're being a mean little mouse now, and I don't like it very much. Maybe I should have killed you after all.
Is this me?
I'm trying to help you, Mitty. The world's changed a lot in the last 1800 years. A lot of it bad, but a lot of it good too. By and large, most people ain't burning witches and selling their daughters. That sort of thing's frowned upon by mortals these days.
Yeah, we appreciate that.
There
It's
are
a good
laws
thing.
out there to protect folks now. It ain't like in old times.
May I tell you a story, little mouse?
All right, tell me a story.
Once upon a time, there was a very pretty young lady. Pretty, but also crazy. Like me.
Labeling.
The pretty young lady Mary had moved in with her cousin, Mrs. Hultridge. At first, they got along quite well. But one day, Mary started acting naughty. She would shout, act unladylike, and even say that Jesus Christ wasn't very special. Mrs. Hultridge liked Jesus Christ very much and wanted Mary to like him too. When she didn't, this embarrassed Mrs. Hultridge. She began to think something was wrong with Mary. After all, who didn't like Jesus Christ? Mrs. Hultridge said that
Kind of a
Mary
long
had begun
list.
to vomit up pins and buttons, nails, glass, and bits of wool. Instead of being grateful for the free gifts Mary was vomiting up, Mrs. Hultridge said that she had been attacked by 8 witches in spectral form. Now, it just so happened that all 8 of those witches lived very close to the town where Mrs. Hultridge lived. Despite their magical prowess, the 8 witches were captured and put into the stocks. And all the people of the town were told that the women did not like Jesus Christ at all. So the Jesus Christ-liking people threw rotten vegetables and poo at the witches. And, just for fun, they gouged out the eye of one of them. Then they kicked the witches out of town and lived happily ever after. The end.
Well, that ain't a pleasant story.
Oh, it was very unpleasant. It hurts very much to have your eye taken away. But I like my new eye. It's fun. I was 1,500 summers old or so when that happened. The world hadn't changed much then. I don't think it's changed much now.
I'm sorry that happened to you, Meddy. You're right. Folk can be pretty awful when they get riled up. That ain't changed.
Oh, don't be sorry, little mouse. I like my new eye. Also, the story has a happy ending.
Is the happy ending you killed all of them?
Oh yeah? What's that?
After I had my eye taken away, I took Mrs. Hultridge's parts away too, one by one until she died. It was so much fun.
Yeah.
That's a little morbid, Meddy.
Morbid Mary. Oh, I like that. That's very clever, little mouse. But you see why I'm careful now?
Yeah, I get it. But look, there's one thing that's different now, and that's...
Liberal democracy has solved everything.
It's what we're doing right now. In all that time up till now, therapy ain't never existed. We only just started looking at ourselves and the way we think.
Yeah. This is a damn good point, too.
Before recent times, we only looked at gods, government, and society. The self is a new frontier, and we're learning stuff we never considered before.
And that's pretty fascinating, right? I reference things that are like the underpinning of this entire model for understanding the wholeness of self. And it's like, this is the oldest bit of research that deals with this kind of psychological distinction between the 3, which has been expanded to 4, like mechanisms of self. And it's from 1970. 60 years ago. Lots of people are still alive in that time. It's a massively new development. It's super important. And no wonder we keep inventing and doing further research and discovering new and interesting things on the subject. Because it's going so fast.
The frontier can be kind of scary, but being on that frontier means moving forward. Come with me.
Silly mouse. If something feels scary, that means that there must be something to be scared of.
I know you've been through a lot and you got damn good reasons for being careful. But there's a reason you came to me, right?
Yes, but it wasn't because I wanted to go outside. It's because of my fans. Very demanding.
Right. That's why we were talking about your going for walks and went down this rabbit hole.
Yeah.
Or, in your case, a mouse hole.
Anyway, therapy usually ain't about just one thing. It's about lots of things. If the problem is your fans, we gotta imagine unlife without them, right?
Yeah, that's a very good question.
Don't want to lose them all. Some of them are gentle.
Sure, that would be a cat's
They're
fault.
too weak to hurt anyone, which is why they don't.
You really think weak people would hurt others if they were stronger?
Little mouse, I've been alive for a long time. I believe what my eye shows me. Yes, if one is capable of hurting another, they do.
They can, but they don't always. You ever seen them capybara animals?
Oh.
They're dang massive rodents and could do some damage if they wanted to, I reckon.
Oh, yes! Oh, they're very cute. People like to share animated pictures of them in my community.
They're adorable.
Some folk are like that. They just want to sit around and have someone scratch their bellies.
Me IRL.
Is that what you want, little mouse? Do you want me to scratch your belly?
I am amazed I haven't seen reams and reams and reams of fan art of Mitty.
What? No, I'm just saying. Don't assume everyone's out to hurt someone. Yeah, it happens. Of course it
Like
does.
talons
But that kind of
covered
thinking
in
ain't giving
blood.
folks their fair shot.
Tits out. Tumblr should be going nuts for him.
Don't know what I'll do if I don't have my followers. I can't live the way I used to before the machines took over. Oh, they expect so much of me now. They send me messages all night and all day. They need content.
Not sure it doesn't exist. I know I'm not seeing it. I usually have my tendrils spread out, so I would pick up on that.
God, if I don't give them their content, they'll all leave. Their attention spans are like those of little bugs, but they're not as cute.
Okay. I think we need to talk about moderation.
Oh, I already have moderators, silly mouse. Any major content creator has to have them.
Haha.
I don't know what that stuff means. I'm talking about moderation in your thinking. What if you gave your fans only what you felt comfortable giving?
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what I want, silly mouse. They just want me to overreact to video games.
Doesn't matter what you want. Doesn't matter what I want. It sounds like a control fallacy. Pretending you have no control in this scenario.
Again, Mary seems to view her followers as cattle, or all.
Doesn't matter what I want.
Betty, you're thinking that mortals want only one type of content is forcing you to make only one type of content.
I think the hardest point is here. I don't know what Sam is going to say after I choose a fallacy. Cognitive distortion. If I was able to say control fallacy and say, it sounds like you feel like you don't know, you feel like you're only able to make what they want. What if you had the power to make whatever you wanted? And that's essentially what he's saying here. But what he's saying here is definitely an overgeneralization, not a control issue.
Your assumptions are keeping you from doing things you like, and you deserve to do things you actually enjoy.
You're very kind. I thought cowboys were supposed to be tough.
Who says I ain't? I just don't have nothing to prove no more. Here, why don't we try something new for next time, since going out didn't go so well last time?
You did kill 7 people.
I want to challenge you to take a day off. Don't answer any messages, don't post no content. Just do something for you and you alone. Take a sick day.
But we never get sick. We're dead people.
They don't know that, do they? One day. That's all I'm asking for. You need to give yourself a little space.
It's good advice, too.
Very well. Since you've been a very kind mouse, I'll do it for you.
I'd prefer it if you did it for you, but we'll work toward that, huh?
Oh, I wish I had a big piece of cheese to give to you right now.
A lactose intolerance is kind of a side effect of death, but I appreciate the sentiment. I'll see you in a month then, okay?
Yes.
Great. I'll see you then.
Bye.
You are doing well, my friend. I know we old ones can be rather inscrutable sometimes.
I think you're plenty scrutable.
She's human. We all are, ain't we? The way I see it, we all got the same problems one way or another.
Your wisdom never fails to impress, Samuel. I believe it is time for you to follow your own advice to Miss Meddy, however. All work and no play makes for a dull vampire, as they say.
Yeah, you're probably right. I might hit the hay early and do a bit of reading.
If you must take out some aggression on hay, then please do so. I shall see you soon, my friend. Rest in peace.
Good night, Andy. Dang, I wonder how I'll feel about humanity when I'm 1800. Heck, I wonder whether there'll even be a planet. I guess it's time to drown my existential woes in blood.
Sounds so
Howdy
dramatic.
there, Crimson.
You're sounding a little weary there, cowboy. You getting enough to drink these nights?
Oh, yeah, that ain't it. Just existential ponderings.
That's just my specialty. What's eating you, buckaroo?
It's this old client I got. She's been watching humanity hurting itself for 1,800 years. Every time she expected better, she got hurt. She ain't wrong to mistrust mortals.
That's a tough one. What do you do with someone like that?
Well, I tried to guide her to look inward like I do with everyone. People are people, but so is she.
How do you think she took it?
I think she appreciated the focus on her. I can't answer for all humanity, but maybe she can get answers from herself.
That would be good.
I think you could stand to listen to yourself, Ranchero.
She's the one.
You could have been a mean old Dracula, and nobody would expect anything different from you.
Because the voice in your head is the one that, multiple, is the one brackets you have all the time. So you might as well make it kind, or at least useful or helpful, you know? Or fun to be around, even if it's not kind. That's worth doing, because again, it's going to be in your head the whole time.
Reckon there have always been people like you, no matter how bad it's been in history.
Dang, Crimson. I can see why Andy respects you so much. You done some living, sounds like.
Death at the door can put things into perspective. I get where your client is coming from. Changing the world isn't going to happen, but we can at least change ourselves.
I don't think that's true. The country I left definitely ain't the country I was born in.
The wheels turn a little slowly for us mortals, cowboy. Back in D.C., I was trying to push policy to do something about our poverty problem, but the kind gentlemen across the street were pretty happy to make things worse. When I got my cancer diagnosis, that was my wake-up call to stop getting disappointed and start living with the little amount of time I had left.
Working at a bar is more rewarding than being a member of the bar, huh?
Put him, Tish.
Not bad, cowboy. It's got its charms. Here, I whipped up something special for you.
That ain't half bad. Got a refreshing taste.
Rose hips. Just a little something extra. Been experimenting with some herbals for Andy.
Guess old dogs like us can still learn new tricks. Thanks, Crimson. I think I'll hit the hay now.
You hit that hay, Desperado. I'll see you later.
She didn't say.
Got a lot on my mind tonight. I think I need some rest. Now, what should I do to relax?
Reflect on the day with Emerson.
I always pick up a little extra perspective from Ralphie Waldo. Emerson, that is. Let's see if I can find a good passage.
Ralphie Waldo.
Bingo.
Hey, we have the headshot here.
In the woods is perpetual youth. Within these plantations of God, a decorum and sanctity reign. A perennial festival is dressed, and the guest sees not how he should tire of them in 1,000 years. In the woods, we return to reason and faith. There I feel that nothing can befall me. No disgrace, no calamity, leaving me my eyes, which nature cannot repair. In the wilderness I find something more dear and connate than in streets or villages. In the tranquil landscape, and especially in the distant line of the horizon, man beholds somewhat as beautiful as his own nature. Ain't that the truth? Future's always ahead, no matter how old we get.
Yeah, Sam and Crimson are great, but clearly Sam, Maxie, and Reinhardt are my favorite.
That's enough for one night. Time to visit Dreamland. Maybe I'll see my princess there.
And Princess. Sorry for the coughing. Honestly, haven't been coughing that much today. And it's one of the reasons why I'm not going through Sam's journal.
Samuel, my dear, I do look forward to our chats. How are you feeling tonight?
I've only got one thing in my Rolodex.
I gotta confess, boss, I'm a little down. I love helping other vampires, but getting therapy myself sometimes ain't much fun.
Lol.
I understand. Looking in the mirror is difficult for any human, much more so when they don't cast a reflection.
Ho ho.
You ain't kidding. It just seems like there's always work to do, you know? Like my walking in the woods for 90 years wasn't nearly enough time.
I dare say you are correct. I believe that we must never cease our walking in the woods. There is no mystery deeper than that of our own existence.
Yeah.
Where do vampires come from anyway?
Whoa, come on.
Well, Samuel, when two vampires love
my
each
God.
other very much,
Very funny response, but still, come on. Give me that deep vampire lore. Where do you sit on it? Cursed by God? Yeah, cursed by the world itself? Born from the darkness to be the terror?
Come on, boss, that's not what I'm asking. Where do we come from?
the answer to that is much older than recorded history, my friend. But let us focus on you.
That's all you get.
We should start with some meditation and determine what thoughts are most important to you right now.
Okay, so Vampire the Masquerade, I'm probably going to lean forward. In Vampire the Masquerade, your political factions are primarily about what do you do with the night today. Anarchs, we should be free. In Camarilla, we should be organized. Yeah. And Sabbat, we should do what we want. Or we have a higher purpose. I don't know much about Sabbat, I'm afraid. Haven't read their books. But in Requiem, the political factions are honestly more about what we are. Actually, no, because they're not all of them are in absolute 100% conflict with one another because they're not setting up like factions in an MMO. They're just like groups that have got together for a particular cause. What is it? And I love that the Carthians are like, we should learn from political systems that the humans invented after our death. We should be connected to one another. We should like be engaged in the world and be aligned with a revolutionary thought. Because some Carthian groups are absolutely fascist, right? They're about interesting new political thought, not the leftists. But you know how I'd run them. Whereas the Order of Dracul are entirely about investigating through scientific methodology, understanding the vampiric curse. Just what is it? How do we understand it? How do we write things down? What does it mean? And like that's their whole organization. That doesn't fit into I hate the Carthians or I hate the Camarilla, right? It just doesn't fit. It doesn't have to. Invictus, not the Camarilla. The Camarilla fell in Rome. They're not supposed to be in conflict at all times. It's just that they don't agree, so they're going to end up in conflict, but it's not designed that way automatically. And I've always been drawn to the Lancia et Sanctum, or Sanctum, which is definitely like vampiric Catholic Church, baby. Vampires do have a purpose, and it is explicitly to terrify humanity into being better versions. So go hunt down the serial killer and murder them in as public fashion as possible so that you keep everyone on the straight and narrow believing in God. So the humans don't have to bear the sin, but we do whip self, whip self, whip self. Because castigation is fun. Like, that's fucking awesome, man. That's so much more interesting than just Camarilla. Anyway.
Close your eyes and envision your place of comfort.
Or whether you're a nodist.
I ain't good at being a therapist. Is my hat weird? Ich bin Sam. Ich bin ein cool man. Election looks real bad back home. Dr. Drain thinks I'm brain damaged. Why'd my mama have to marry that asshole? When's the sunrise? The Senora hates my guts. Sure wish you were still here, Jeb.
Jeb?
Actors need help, that's for dang sure. Wish I had more book smarts. Bet he scares the heck out of me. You're an idiot, Sam, hurting all them folk. Why'd I join up with a gang in the first place?
How are you feeling now?
So, command brother, maybe? You mind elaborating what you mean on that one? So I spent quite a bit of time ranting about Requiem.
I'm way more centered now. I think I was actually afraid of therapy today.
Yeah, you were, man.
Why is that, my friend? What thoughts came up?
About, like, quite a lot of it. About, like, your performance as a therapist.
Well, after last time, I think I was stewing a bit. Just being real angry at myself for joining that nasty cult in the first place.
Oh, right. No idea.
They preyed on the vulnerable,
Just
as
kind of
cults
went
tend to do.
right off me.
If you had been a man of means,
I haven't
with a
practiced
robust
French
support
in
system,
so long
I doubt
because
they would have
Babbel
noticed
is too expensive and I don't like it as much as Duolingo. Duolingo uses AI and they're pushing more and more and more and more of it, and CEO turns out to be an asshole, so I did some Googling and there doesn't appear to be any other app that's as good. I should try Rosetta Stone, but their app on the phone looks terrible. Jeb might be me, brother. Yeah, that makes sense too. Drops. Language drops. Thank you. Tab saved. Let's fucking go. Because I'll give them a try. I didn't want to renew a membership to Babbel because it wasn't enjoyable. I actually hated it a lot, which is weird. Language drops. Thank you, Leona. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I know. And honestly, I'm mad about that too. I mean, my country did me real wrong and put me in that sorry state to begin with.
This sounds like a proverbial can of worms.
Yeah, you could definitely say that. After we talked last time, I kept thinking, what could I have done differently? And the answer amounts to horse shit.
Like, the weird thing is, Duolingo, the thing that I disliked the most about it, sure, it didn't seem very practical, but it sure did hit that gamify loop that made it so I wanted deeply to practice every day. And that's good fun. But it was also a bit parochial in the sense that I remember years ago they offered additional courses you could spend things on, like tokens or whatever, not actual money, on flirting. And it was the most basic flirting you could imagine. Like, do you look like a model? Fuck, that's not very useful. Rosetta Stone apparently has more mature senses of, like, here's how to obtain consent in a language you don't speak. And, like, that's cool. That would be useful. That seems a lot more practical. But their interface sucked and their app looked terrible, so I didn't try. It also doesn't let me try it without giving extra money. And, like, yeah, that's good. That's also all of the other... if you search how do I learn a language, you get a lot of information. It's like, learn the basics in an app and then immediately immerse yourself in as much media as you can and go find someone in your city who speaks that language so you can go practice with them. That's not very practical for me. But the immersion part, you're not going to get through Duolingo. And fuck, it's hard enough when all I was doing was just learning via Elden Ring. And I'll do it again. I'll pick up another game that I'm going to start playing in a different language and just hold my phone up and auto-translate when I don't get it. Because I want to pick it up, and I really hope language drops is the solution.
All that law-breaking I did, all that murdering and stealing and doing no
Yeah.
good, that was my
Watching the
country
news?
failing me.
Fuck, that's advanced. Yeah, exactly. Maybe it's something else that's highly structured would work. So, like, French Magic the Gathering would be an interesting way. A bit of Felicity, but yeah. Cooking blogs, also a good one apparently, because it's very well laid out and you can muddle your way through.
Let us slow down,
Anyway,
Samuel. You are
vampire
making a bit of a
vampire
logical leap.
therapist.
I have great admiration
One
and
more
empathy
suggestion.
for you, my friend.
Role-playing game you
but it is
already understand
disrespectful to
implicitly.
those you hurt to blame
Translated.
anyone but yourself.
Try that. Because, like, really complicated, in-depth language, however, you should know most of the time what it's referring to. And if it's not, like, too grammatically different, so not like Japanese, you can pull out your copy of the textbook and then check it. That's it. Anyway.
I mean, I guess I could have died. Suppose that would have been kinder. But that's a lot to ask a boy to do.
I am not suggesting that you should have died. and I do not suggest that your country was without fault. However, your country had its role, and you had yours. You are using a cognitive distortion called blaming.
Oof.
When we engage in blaming, we ignore or wipe away our own faults, attributing them to someone or something else.
That's an important one.
Our faults are precious, Samuel. We cannot be ourselves without them. Do not wipe them away.
I mean, I just wish things hadn't been the way they were. If my country had taken a better trail, maybe I would have turned out different.
Differently. I am sorry to interrupt, but Senora Deste might correct you less gently. Now then, perhaps it would help to put blaming into perspective. It is always humbling to see ourselves in the mirrors of our minds, is it not? Let's try some examples. See if you can tell when I am blaming. I turned into a bat the other day and flew right into a tree. Who put that tree there? I was unable to perform in bed with Crimson the other night. It must have been her fault.
Blaming.
Dang, that is some blaming. Takes two to tango, boss. Maybe there's some bad blood brewing between you two, and I wish I hadn't heard about it.
Do not worry, my friend. Crimson and I bring each other great satisfaction.
Do not worry, my friend. I fuck.
All right, I get it.
I said nothing lurid, Samuel. Why are you so distressed?
Singing great satisfaction. It's like hearing your parents talking about their sex lives. I mean, not that you're... I mean, forget I said anything.
Good God, you Americans.
All right, Samuel, let us move on.
Never let a country get founded by Puritans.
The interface on this widely used new vampire dating app is so modern. How do they expect anyone to use this cursed thing? Did you see the football game the other night? My preferred team played with great skill and should have won. The referee was clearly an agent of the Dark Lord.
Blaming.
And now hold on, Andy. I think I saw the game you're talking about, and you're just blaming the ref for your team's mistakes. You got a great tight end, but one that plays a little dirty.
Sam, good Lord, my man. Now who's lurid?
Excuse me?
I didn't mean it like that. Oh, heck, I can't talk right
This
today.
is an old shirt, so, like, it's interesting. It fits weirdly around the shoulders. I'm sure people appreciate it, but I know I've pointed it out on stream before. Please get another look at this. That is the horniest goddamn shirt for someone like me. A bear gently holding a mermaid in supplication in his mouth. Here's, I'm gendering the bear. Obviously, I love it.
It's quite all right. Isn't getting dirty the point of play?
And Dramarco's coming out in favor of splashing. What? Oh, the shirt. Yeah, fair enough.
It is the fault of the cursed sun that we
Camera's
must
small.
live in darkness.
That's not this.
The sun can't help being the sun, so don't go blaming it.
Try again, please. Yeah. That's the spirit.
The way I see it, we got our place. That ain't nobody's fault.
Well done, Samuel. Perhaps the sun is even more brilliant in our memories, and seeing the real thing would spoil it.
Well, that's one way of thinking about it.
There are some blaming distortions you missed in there, my friend. Listen once more. I turned into a bat the other day and flew right into a tree. Who put that tree there?
Blaming someone else or the tree for you being clumsy, that ain't gonna do anyone much good.
Yeah.
I smacked into my fair share of trees back when I was a youngster, but that was definitely my fault.
Of course. There is no shame in being a novice flyer as a young vampire, but we can be insecure creatures. That's our humanity at work. I was unable to perform in bed with Crimson the other night. It must have been her fault.
Dang, that is some blaming. All right.
I said nothing,
Singing.
The interface on this widely used new vampire dating app is so modern. How do they expect
Is
anyone
that
to
blaming?
use this cursed thing?
I don't think so.
Did you see the football game the other night?
And now hold on, Andy. You got a I didn't.
It's quite all right. It is the fault of the cursed sun that we...
The way I see it.
Well done, Samuel.
Well, that's one way of thinking.
There are some blaming distortions you
Okay.
missed in there. my
Oh,
friend.
well, they're
I
all
turned into a
blaming?
bad
Okay.
diva. I was unable to perform in bed with.
Come on.
There are some blaming distortions.
Blaming someone.
Of course. I was unable.
Dang. All right, I get it.
I said nothing lurid, Sam.
Well, singing, great.
Thank you. Come on.
Come on now, boss. Not every app out there is designed too good, but we can't expect machines to run themselves. Well, that's some blaming right there.
You are correct, Samuel. It was only hypothetical, of course. I do endeavor to keep up with the times.
And Marcos is so perfect. Oh my god.
By the way, thank you again for teaching me Control V and Control C the other night. What a delightful trick.
Oh, yeah. Way faster than going through the edit menu all the time.
You youngsters always find the latest tricks.
I think I get it. I ain't trying to erase what I did. I'm just bitter that I felt like I had no choice at all. And it all goes back to the United States taking my daddy away for their manifest destiny. I'm mad at him, too. Dying for his country. What kind of nonsense is that? How'd his country pay him back?
Jeez.
By making my poor ma marry a drunk who beat the daylights out of her and his kids? Ain't no damn wonder I turned out the way I did.
That must have been devastating, Samuel. Countries are not human. They cannot feel. And stories such as yours prove it.
Nations are not people.
I mean, what the hell, Andy? My daddy's corpse didn't give a shit about no United States of America. It's kind of funny when you think about it. He died fighting the British so the U.S. could say they own Missouri. Who the fuck cares?
So, like, I got up on my anarchist hobby horse there and leaned into the microphone to whisper, nations are not people. And, like, that's an obvious no-duh statement. But what I really mean by that is, like, a nation itself can't be responsible. Nor do they really exist. Stand on one side of a border, breathe in deep, take 5 steps to the left, breathe in again, and tell me that the air is different.
I'm telling you, Andy, the best thing about being dead is realizing how little that nationalism crap matters.
Fuck it. And in another sense, nations don't have any right to exist, do they? Not in the same way a human life does.
Desire for identity can create monsters worse than we. What happened after your father died?
Well, we didn't have nothing. The money was running out, so my ma got married to a hard man who drank even harder. He beat up my older brother, Jeb, for fun.
Yeah, that's
Once
Jeb.
Jeb started fighting back,
Good job,
the
Luxie.
year-old stepdad came for me. And that's when my brother killed him.
Because I was just like, Jeb.
It sounds like a tragedy from my own country's mythology. I am sorry that such a thing happened to you, Samuel. Your brother was brave.
No kidding. We went on the run together, but he was the one who kept us alive and fed, mostly through stealing and begging. Once we stopped being cute, begging didn't work anymore, so we moved up to robbing and killing. Killed my first man at 12, and then it got a little too easy.
That is young. I cannot imagine how difficult that must have been, Samuel. My country asked me to kill at 20, and I still remember how devastating it felt.
Yeah, well, nobody told me to do it. Like you said, that was all me. I don't think anyone was surprised either. When my brother and I rode into a town, you should have seen the way people looked at us. They knew we were trouble, and we were determined as hell to prove them right.
Aha, a moment, Samuel. I believe this is an opportunity for some growth.
It's them distortions again, huh?
To err is human, as they say. Do not be discouraged. There is something in what you just said that you cannot be sure of. Can you tell me what it is?
I stopped being cute. Nationalism is neat, actually. Hold on. I kind of want to search and look for those woke watch lists to see if vampire therapists count as what? As woke?
I guess there ain't no way of knowing that people thought we were trouble.
That's right, Samuel. There is one way of knowing exactly what they were thinking, and that would be to read their minds. Thus is the cognitive distortion called mind reading. Yes, we can weigh evidence and make predictions, but never with complete certainty.
I was a dirty little thieving murderer. I don't blame him for judging me.
Vampire Therapist is not on the Woke Content Detector's curated list of games. That's kind of sad. Night Road, Bloodlines, Sins of the Sires, and Parliament of Knives all are... I am so sorry to provide this information to you. Woke.
First, that's labeling. Second, one of those people might have been patient and gentle, one that had an experience like yours. You cannot know. With your mind reading, do you see how you made everyone your enemy?
Yeah. You're right. You're damn right.
No one expects a child to be perfectly aware of themselves and the world, Samuel. Remember, start with compassion for yourself.
Good advice. Compassion doesn't mean you're letting yourself get away with everything. It's just being, well, compassionate. Acknowledging that not everything you've done is worthy of... Sorry. It's 11%. I finished the glass. I do want him bouncing and moaning on it.
Here, let us do an exercise to help you recognize mind.
Getting distracted. Can you tell my meds have worn off as well?
Jesus Christ would have disliked the idea of anal intercourse.
I know that's mind reading right there. Unless you asked Jesus Christ himself and he told you, there's no way you'd know how he feels about butt sex.
No god of mine will discount the pleasures to be found in butt sex.
Very good, Samuel. Many in my time have claimed to know the mind of Jesus Christ, and none of them have ever even met him.
You were there when he was kicking around. You ever meet him?
Other side of the world, Samuel.
No, that part of the world was never really vampire-friendly.
Yeah, there's a lot of sun happening in the Middle East.
The chair you're sitting in is one of his, though. Magnificent, isn't it?
What?
Jesus Christ made this chair?
I bought it cheaply before he became a big deal. He was certainly ahead of his time as a carpenter.
You're fucking with him. That's a plush lounge.
Dang. Now I feel awkward sitting in this thing.
It's more than 2,000 years old, Samuel. It is still just a chair, and it's experienced millennia of past wind. Don't worry about it.
That is someone's fetish.
Crimson is upset with me because I forgot to take out the garbage. I know because she told me so.
That's not mind reading, nor is it blaming or disqualifying the positive.
I sent my friend
told
Vlad
you.
an internet message, and he left it on red. He must hate me.
Now that's mind reading.
That's some mind reading for sure. There's no way you know what Vlad's thinking. Maybe he wasn't ready to answer, or maybe he forgot.
Yep, that's a good thing to think of.
Excellent, Samuel. That's correct. There are endless reasons why Vlad would leave my messages on red, and only Vlad knows them.
Yep.
Reading too much into an internet message is a massive waste of time.
Yeah, especially if the message says that your game is woke.
The Pony Express was a lot healthier, I think. This internet stuff makes people get real nutty.
We're just as nutty as we were, just faster.
Mortals are in more of a rush than we are, I'm afraid. Let us continue. One of the patrons of my club was having dirty thoughts about me. I know because I read his mind with my vampiric powers.
That's, weirdly enough, not actually mind reading.
I told our bouncer Bert a funny joke the other day. He was quiet, but very amused.
That's mind reading.
How the heck would you know if Bert was amused by your jokes? That's clearly mind reading.
You are correct, Samuel. No one knows what Bert is thinking.
Not unless you read his mind.
I like to think he dreams of butterflies. But who can say?
I don't think he's thinking of butterflies.
Then you are mind reading, Samuel. Let Bert be Bert.
Oh, that's good. Fucking outflanked by Andromachos. He's got you.
Yeah, I guess so.
I believe you now understand that mind reading may have closed the door on some opportunities for you.
I suppose. I can't really know either way, but I guess that's the point of
That's
all
a
this.
good way to
Knowing
phrase
what's
it as
real
well.
and what's not.
Andromachos made it clear when he was saying, I believe we've made it clear that mind reading may have closed the door on some opportunities. That's great, because he didn't say, now we know that you fucked up by mind reading before. He just made it clear that, like, close the door on some opportunities makes it particularly clear that Sam isn't better or worse. He's not a worse person for having the cognitive distortion of mind reading. It just happened to him, right? It just happened. That's reality. And it may have closed the door on some opportunities, but he is still here. That's good. Fuck, this game is good. Holy shit, right? Isn't it incredible? I love it.
Exactly, Samuel. So tell me, what happened to you and your brother?
Yeah.
You don't know already? I thought we were famous Wild West outlaws. They called us the Handsome Boys on account of the fact that we were young and good looking.
And they started calling us the Pretty Boys, and then the So-So Boys, and later, just the boys.
I think we made as close to a living as possible while keeping up a life like that for some 35 years.
Fuck.
They stopped calling us the Handsome Boys eventually. Mostly they just called us those two sumbitches. Jeb and I married a pair of sisters, even talked about settling down in some kind of fashion. I guess we got greedy though. One last big job, as they say in the pictures. Met this fella in a saloon who'd heard of us. Went by Ernie. He said he'd help us take down the Pioneer Missouri Bank. A take of $30,000, split 3 ways.
Good lord.
That's about $1 million in today's dollars, but that kind of money was unthinkable back when. We got the money all right, but my brother got shot in the head. Dead before he even hit the ground. I didn't know who did it. So in my rage, I killed every soul in that bank. Ernie and I ran off with that dirty money, but weren't nothing the same after that. When she heard the news, my sister-in-law was screaming so loud she scared the coyotes away. My wife left with her that night, and I didn't see either of them ever again.
Jeez.
Not sure I wanted to. I had $15,000 and no interest in spending it. Just sat there in a sack. When Ernie invited me to join his gang, I saw no reason not to. I'm pretty sure I signed that devil's contract as soon as I started killing them folks in the bank.
I am sorry, Samuel. That is a truly horrifying story. I can hear the pain in your voice. Your brother was precious to you.
Yeah. He wasn't a good man, Andy. But he kept me safe. Without him, I knew I'd be doomed. I was certain I had no choice but to join the Mystic Bastards. Yeah, I know. Cognitive distortion.
I know you know, Samuel. A new one, but I think you can identify it on your own. What is the cognitive distortion you are displaying now?
Fated.
I was so sure I was right to join the Mystic Bastards. Ain't nobody could have convinced me otherwise.
Indeed, Samuel. This cognitive distortion is known as being always right. And when you are always right, your choices are limited, even if they lead to doom. We become so convinced that only we have the appropriate perspective, even in a world of infinite possibilities. One would expect immortals to be immune to this distortion after seeing their beliefs challenged over generations. But we are just as susceptible to being always right. Let's try some examples so you can identify when I am always right. I have the experience of ages. My authority cannot be questioned.
Okay, Boomer.
Excuse me?
Just something I hear the kids say when old mortal folk are acting like they're always right. The folks born after World War II are real good at destroying the world, but they assume age leads to wisdom. It ain't necessarily so.
You are always right about that. Well done,
That's
Sam.
so good.
With my multi-generational economic expertise, I am confident that market conditions will result in mass layoffs in the next quarter. I know that turning another into a vampire inevitably results in resentment.
That sounds like you're always right. I know a lot of us vampires ain't too happy with our lot in unlife, but we ain't always resentful.
That is correct, Samuel. Of course, we must be careful when choosing whom we turn and when. Choosing to live forever is not a choice casually made.
Yeah.
It ain't usually a choice at all.
But we will endeavor to break that cycle, my friend. We have enough clients already without having more resentful immortals running around. Let us continue.
All right, frienders, it is 10 o'clock, and that means we are finishing. We may even be finishing right now. Yeah, exactly, Luxie. Now, we've made a save. I wanted to just hit a alert box test now. I wanted to make sure that you know this is indeed a test. We don't have a new follow, but just want to show you what it looks like. Yeah, how fucking cool is that, right? You love it. Yeah, right? I just wanted to show it off. Nobody jumped on news, so we're just gonna have beloved friends, our favorite people, and you are indeed my favorite people, to stream with, so thank you very much for joining me. But I did just wanted to make sure that you saw the beautiful benefits of expanding our good little crew here. So I do hope that you join me again for Wednesday night, because I believe my schedule is free, and I think it is indeed a Kingdom Hearts night. And I'm very excited to do more Kingdom Hearts. I don't know how I'm going to work out the overlay, but I'll figure it out. I'll find a way to put a Sammy and I side by side and we can play together. Thank you very much for joining us. It was nice to see Leona until very early in the morning, so please send good sleep wishes over to Leona, a kind week to Luxie and Violets, and an excellent presentation for Emma later this week. And otherwise, do remember to tell people you love them very much. Good night, everyone. Transition.